Jazz hands!
Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Dr. Shado. God
What?
damn, I really have to lay off the cocaine. And welcome to Live and Wired, episode 29. Panic at the live stream. As I'm talking to myself, okay, pause there. Okay, I realized my Surface is pointing at my microphone. That had to be awkward. So, joining as always, we have that long-haired creepy guy.
Ta-da! And as you may have noticed, Patricia is not here, signified by Decker having technical difficulties right off the bat. Like, just her mere presence stops them from happening.
Yes, and also the title, Panic at the Live Stream. Though she did send a message saying that she can join in a bit. She didn't say in a bit. She said, what did she say? Be there in 3 minutes. Okay, she just told me that. So there we go. We got it. She'll be here in 3 minutes. Count them.
Countdown begins. So yeah, I'm really hoping that this 3 minutes is like an actual 3 minutes instead of internet YouTube time, where 3 minutes can like be like the Twilight Zone and transcend time and space.
So in case you were wondering why I wasn't absolutely screaming and crying in desperation, no, even though Patricia wasn't here, it's because she's coming. There's that glimmer of hope on the horizon.
Pretty much.
So, got a lot going on in the chats. Dragon of Dragos, like, hey, Decker. Topcock says, Topcock? Hey there. Michael Wolf is like 259, 258, 257.
The Nestine 100 says, oh no, Patricia is not here. Decker and Creepy are unsupervised for 3 minutes. The horror. That's pretty much right there.
And Haggard was here says, it's Decker, the internet personality who beat the nostalgia critic to the Robocop review. It helps to talk so damn fast sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, tell them real quick while we're waiting on Patricia. Tell them the story that you told me.
Which one was that?
When
I tell you a lot of stories, Creepy. I'm a fucking motor mouth.
Allow me to narrow down the stream of consciousness. Then. You had I will probably let me just go ahead and tell it then, because by the time I'm done reminding Decker what I'm talking about, I'll have told it. Decker contacted me, I think it was yesterday, and we were doing Tokuhiro Rift Tracks, which I still need to put up, unfortunately. It's been a rough day for me today. I won't go into any details and bore people, but Decker contacted me. We got in touch. We started watching. We did our Tokuhiro Rift Tracks for Patreon. But he also told me that he had his Robocop 2014 review had been reblogged on Facebook by the Nostalgia Critic, and that like people were commenting on the on the Nostalgia Critic's post of it, and so he went there and he was like, "Thank you." It's like I did not expect this. Thank you very much, good sir. Delete. Thank you very much, sir. Period. Send.
It's a little awkward after the entire change the channel thing, right? I'm still. I think we did an episode of that on Live and Wired, and I'd like to think I was fair about it, but also to be fair to that point, it's not like I had anyone from Channel Awesome from either side of the aisle there to discuss it in their own terms. It was, hey, there's this big post here. Let's discuss the connotations therein.
And considering how tight-lipped Channel Awesome was being on their end of things, there wasn't really a whole lot you could say in their defense, unfortunately, except for just fanboys screaming, lies, lies, I tell you. Although I don't think by that point there were a whole lot of people taking Channel Awesome's side. I didn't see many.
Yeah. It was also like I remember one of the comments on that particular episode of Live and Wired was someone saying that I just joined in with the hate mob attacking Channel Awesome for no reason. I'm thinking, I thought I tried to give them a pretty fair shake and like play a little devil's advocate.
But we did. We I remember that was like in what, April, May of last year.
I think it was April.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, we had this long. It took up like the biggest chunk of the.
Oh yeah, creepy. By the way, you got your mug.
And yes, Decker confirmed earlier, mine is bigger than his. We won't go into any further details than that.
Yeah, technically, I ordered him the exact same mug that I ordered myself. I just don't know exactly what the hell's going on with my Twitch merch, because if they got that wrong, I gotta say, it's probably not worth the money. I mean, it's very nice, but it helps to get your orders right, and that's the kind of mug the one Creepy has was the one that I have this kind of design from top to bottom going on. And yeah, you can see that's not the mug they gave me. They gave me the regular ass mug with that design.
Right. But also eating chips, by the way, just everybody can see that. But yeah. But like it took up, like, this was, by that point we were doing 3-hour shows by that point, and that whole Change the Channel episode it took up the biggest portion of the whole show. I mean,
there was a lot to go through there.
We were talking about that for like a good hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. And then we tried to do a speed run for the last hour of, like all the other topics that we had brought with us that we still didn't get around to like the biggest bulk of them. But yeah, like Decker and I talked about that for a little bit afterwards. We were saying that, like, remember way back in the day when we both just got started and our dream was to become a part of Channel Awesome and, have, maybe be in an anniversary special one day or something like that. And then we were like, really feels like we dodged a bullet.
Okay, Gojira Fan 1954 is asking, is Creepy's mug 10 or 12 ounces? And this is a 12 ouncer, I think. I think Creepy's is a 15-ounce mug.
I'll do this again. See if this helps.
It's got a good amount on the bottom there and the top. Like, you see, with the handle's about the same size, I think.
Mm-hmm. But there's a little bit more to it on the top and the bottom, and it's got this little sort of groove, like right at the bottom. Yours is sort of more of a flat bottom mug.
Yeah, it's just my white bug, my white mug with its flat ass. Yeah.
But anyway. No, that was like he said that to me, and I just thought that was really, really funny.
But yeah, it's kind of weird though, because in the comments on the Nostalgia Critics Robocop 2014 review, there were people there. So most of the comments who mentioned that, hey, Decker also reviewed this on the same day, were pretty positive about it. Like, hey, what a coincidence! Well, that's funny, and this. There were a couple, though, that were very accusatory and trying to say that Nostalgia Critic, his video went up like 4.5 hours after Decker's, which means it also had some very similar jokes in it. This motherfucker watched Decker's review and then threw this together and put it up himself, the cheating bastard. And I'm just saying, we're on season 8 of the show now. Been doing this a while. 4.5 hours. Need time for YouTube to process the video. I'm just saying, if he put it up and posted it immediately, as soon as like last minute getting things done, still needed time for YouTube to process the video, needed time to upload the video, needed time for himself to process the video, needed time to finish editing the video. That's, I'm pretty sure he already got all of that well done before those 4 hours, but that's the stage he could have been in, would be still just barely editing the last bits before setting it to process, then upload, then reprocess, then post. So I'm pretty sure everything was set in stone already well before my video went up.
I feel like that's giving both the Nostalgia Critic and YouTube way too much credit.
I'm just saying, like, really fast, like, assume his internet is insanely fast. He's a lightning quick editor, or he has a lightning quick editor. Like, someone's really good at what they do. YouTube, their stuff just works and works well. So, Patricia, hi.
Hey.
Yeah, about to say, hey, Patricia.
Hi,
sorry.
Creepy.
We were ignoring you, and I'm terribly sorry.
No, it's okay. You have every right to talk about. Which I think I may know what you're talking about. It's about the Robocop 2014 review, isn't it?
It posted on the same day as Nostalgia Critic, and I'm just saying, like, hey, that's nice. I mean, I'm not getting ads on it. Well, I mean, there are ads on it, but they're going to MGM. But still, I got watch time, engagements, and all that happy stuff, views, and that's still got value. And because it's on the same day as the Nostalgia Critics video, then they're gonna have a bit of a symbiotic relationship in the recommended feeds for about a week or so. So I'm like, hey, nice. And then he also posted it on his Facebook. I guess it's kind of a thing. It's like, hey, this other guy did it. I'm like, hey, I'm this other guy.
That's nice to hear.
I think that was more of his way of just acknowledging all the people. It's like, yes, I know. This he did it too. Whoop de fucking do. Someone else reviewed it on the same day. Okay. Yes, well, I know.
Yeah.
well, to be fair, nobody has a stamp of saying just because of a movie or a TV show or a video game, what have you, is I have, I did it first, it's mine. So, I mean, maybe with a few exceptions.
I don't know. The internet's a crazy place.
That's true.
I mean, I'm on it.
That's true.
Real quick, Outfox Gaming donated $5 and said, love your videos. Could you each take turns saying the tongue twister, legless, Lego, Legolas, which I probably cannot do since I couldn't even get through that entire sentence. But legless, Lego, Legolas, legless, Lego, Legolas, legless, Lego, Legolas.
Oh, that's pretty good.
It's just 3 times fast? Okay, now I'm wondering, how fast should I pull it off? Because I can try as fast as I can, but I'm probably going to fuck it up. But if I can still do it at a good pace and still do it 3 times technically fast, but it won't be fast for me. Legless, Lego, Legolas. Legless, Lego, damn it. Legless, Lego, Legolas. Legless, Lego, Legolas. Legless, Lego, Legless, Lego, Legolas. Legless, Lego, Legolas. Legless, Lego, Legolas. Legless, Lego, Legolas.
There you go.
Become an internet meme now. Decker trying to.
Yes, let's give Decker a whole bunch of tongue twisters.
No.
Okay, no. Okay, my turn.
Your turn.
Okay. Legless, Lego, Legolas. Legos, Lego, Legolas. Legos, Lego. Okay, no. Legless, Lego, Legolas. Legos, Lego, Legolas. Legos, Lego, Legolas. I can't do it.
Technically, I think she fumbled a little bit at the end, but good job there.
Yeah.
Sean Haynes says, I bet Decker makes those women go crazy with his tongue twisters.
Oh, brother.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Patricia, also, I didn't mention this yet because I didn't know you were going to be on until a few minutes ago. But I found a lovely little translated then translated what the hell kind of thing. I feel like it needs a dramatic reading. It's just a lovely story about someone who bought a PSVR in secret, and it's been through the ringer.
Okay, yeah.
But, I mean, it's a bit of a long one though, so we should do some news first. But yeah. I just want you to know I got this over here, and I'm like, oh, I so want to read that.
Oh, that sounds fun. Absolutely, yeah.
We were gonna bring up real quick. Hold on, I had a link a moment ago. We talked last year, I think it was brief. We talked for a little bit about I'm not sure if I can actually do this because I've never. Let's see. How do I?
What you do is that you go off into the little side on the left. You click on this little green computer screen that has an arrow to it that says screenshot.
John H. Skeleton is asking, hey guys, I recently got a Sega Genesis. What games should I look for at yard sales, online, and so on?
Excellent question. I actually did a Sega Genesis podcast not too long ago, and we did talk about some of our favorite games. The guests were there. Some of the games that I would recommend, obviously, like the classic Sonic games, 1, 2, and 3. Other games that I do love, personally, I like Strider. I like, let's see, Vector Man. I like the Ooze, Comic Zone, Golden Axe.
Crew Ball. Gotta have Crew Ball. You know Crew Ball, Creepy?
Vaguely.
Let's see.
I was thinking because it's there's plenty of them, like John Washburn saying Shining Force and Shining Force 2 are great, but it's you can find those very commonly in a lot of the Sega Genesis collections, like some of my favorites. The Phantasy Star series, 2, 3, and 4 are on Sega Genesis. But they are also on like every single Sega Genesis collection out there. So I got them on my Switch right now.
Right. Alter Beast from Patrick Thorpe and Jay Fernstein. That's also a really good one. Michael Wolf says Streets of Rage 2. Yes, that's also a really good one as well. I like 1 and 2. 3 is not as good, but it's fine. There's also plenty of other games that I can't really think of on the top of my ToeJam and Earl, really good one. They're actually doing a remake of it pretty soon that was kickstarted.
Is it a remake or a sequel?
Oh, sequel. That's right. It was a sequel. Yeah, there's a sequel to ToeJam and Earl that was kickstarted.
Yeah, I remember ToeJam and Earl.
We got a $20 super chat from Savage Tiger 13 saying, Mr. Shado, we have a donation check for you. And Mr. Creepy, if you could let Chibi Thulu know, I have shipped out his order today, but the SETI Alpha 5 mindworms are still on backorder. I'll get those to him ASAP.
I'm sure he would really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I will keep an eye out for some mindworms or try to avoid them. I'm not sure which is better for me.
But anyway, real quick, we talked for a little while last year on Live and Wired. A certain movie called Goosebumps came out and then had a sequel. But the author of the Goosebumps series also did another book series that these days is lesser known, but still circles around through the internet, called Fear Street. And after Goosebumps, of course, there was a mad rush to see if there would ever be a Fear Street movie. Well, as it turns out, there's going to be 3 of them.
Nice.
Okay then. 3.
There is no dispute when it comes to novel-to-film adaptations. Stephen King is on top for some reason. Like, I guess people love Maine. With It 2 and Pet Sematary on their way in 2019 and a whole host of other adaptations to follow, it might feel like King will never be knocked down. However, if there's one person to challenge him, it just might be R.L. Stine. Now, that challenge seems like a real possibility after some exciting news from the author on Twitter. His beloved 90s teen horror series Fear Street is in the works for 3 movie adaptations. Check out the tweet below. And give me a moment.
See, now I want to write a story about like mutant killer lobsters and have them attack the New England area. And every time it's reported on in the news, they keep saying it's in Maine, but it's not. It's like in Vermont.
Yeah. Let's focus on another New England state that isn't Maine.
Yeah, Patricia, wasn't there a Goosebumps book about that?
Probably, yeah. Something that doesn't take place in Maine.
Yeah,
I think it did involve with like some killer. What was it? Like creepy crabs or something like that. But yeah, like some sort of crustaceans that were like for some reason kind of a little haunted. I don't remember what it's called.
Right. Here was the tweet, by the way, from R.L. Stine directly. Every day.
John Ratsey's like, crab people.
Every day, people ask me if there will ever be movies based on the Fear Street books. The answer is yes. 3 Fear Street movies are in the works at Fox. While you wait, you might try the newest book. And yes, there have been new Fear Street books out in the last few years. Apparently, R.L. Stine had tried to get Fear Street relaunched, like in the mid to late 2000s, but he had trouble getting anyone...
What?
A publisher.
That was a half frame of something in there.
Sorry about that. I scrolled up.
It's a conspiracy. Creepy's trying to send us subliminal messages.
That wasn't subliminal.
No, but
that was very liminal.
Yeah, but publishers were not interested because by that point, of course, the landscape of young adult fiction had shifted. But with the Goosebumps movie being popular again, here we go. Of course, R.L. Stine is famous for his children's horror series, Goosebumps, but Fear Street, however, is for a more mature audiences. The stakes are higher, the scares are more intense, although that's a little debatable. The deaths more brutal, I'll give you that one. In fact, I'm not totally sure there were any deaths in Goosebumps. All that to say, Fear Street would lean towards an older audience, even as it stokes some 80s, 90s nostalgia. If you've been paying attention to pop horror at all lately, you know that those are exactly what studios are looking for, and clearly Fox is no exception.
Wait a minute, what do you mean there was nobody died in Goosebumps? What about, you remember that Goosebumps story about the teacher who like had an obsession with bugs and and monsters, and the girl was like wondering, is my teacher or is my neighbor a monster? And her parents turned into monsters and ate them. What about that one?
I was going to say, I think some people did die in Goosebumps. It just wasn't like a regular thing. Like, it didn't happen every book, but people did die in Goosebumps, I want to say.
Yeah, they did. They got eaten, or they disappeared, or something.
The prom queen, the cheater, the surprise party, the stepsister, the secret bedroom. I've seen these titles all over the place, but they weren't on horror.
You're proud of yourself, aren't you, Decker?
Absolutely. So, anyway, continuing on. Please continue on. This is awkward now.
I think we lost Creepy at the moment.
Okay.
All right then. Well, I'll let
even the whole internet was just like, "Oh, what the hell, Decker? What the hell?"
Yeah. I'll message Creepy, letting him know that we can't hear him.
Right.
That was beautiful. Okay, but yeah, while we're on the subject, I'm surprised that they're making 3 Fear Street movies, because I mean, we did talk about this last year that they were making one, but I take it that if it was going to be a trilogy, then yeah, sounds great. Just hoping that it doesn't like completely tank and then everything else gets canceled.
Right. Sorry about that, by the way. I had some tech.
I see.
Yes, we see that.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 4, 4, 4 games dropped $2, saying, "Don't you even think about being proud of that one." Aw. I preferred it when he was showering me with sandwiches, not shame.
Aw.
Okay, Creepy, you back? I see your face has turned.
Yeah, we've been having some technical problems today at the house. Some bad weather, basically. I think.
Yeah, the weather sucks.
Yeah, it's been windy as hell over here. I had to drive back and forth from the store, and it was almost pushing me off the road. I'm like, motherfucker!
Yeah, we've had bad wind here too, so you're not alone. There's a little bit more of the article. Does anybody want me to read, or is that enough, or whatever?
It's whatever whatever you feel, Creepy.
Hold on, real quick. I'll try and there we go, and there we go. Okay, yeah. With 2 well-received Goosebumps movies under his belt, Stine's film presence is sure to only grow from here, but could his big screen adaptation ever topple Stephen King's? On the one hand, Stephen King's stories are way more familiar to general audiences. However, Stine's Fear Street may have an advantage. Stine's works are very familiar to a 90s kid audience, maybe even more so than some of King's works. And that's actually a decent argument. Dark-toned nostalgia is having its shining moment in pop culture right now with hits like Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. And we all know how I feel about that one.
Creepy. My fiance likes to turn the TV on and put on like Netflix so she can just fire and forget so she can get some sleep. But I can't really sleep too well with the TV on, but I try and deal with it for her because fiance. But she put on Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and then she was kind of annoyed at me because she couldn't sleep because I kept scoffing at the TV.
Never had some taste, at least.
We have a $2 comment from 123784444 games saying, "Sandwiches, how many subs do you want? I made many."
I'm currently aiming for like 150, 160,000 before the end of the year. I'm trying to see if we really pull this out, can I get more subs than Stoned Gremlin Productions? According to Social Blade, within the next 3 years, I should overtake him. But that's not good enough for me.
Also, he posted an earlier one. Did anyone say, this might have been while I was out, but he said, don't you even think about being proud of that one. That was a $2.
Oh, yeah, I already said that one. Decker made a really...
My apologies.
Decker made a really, really bad pun.
Anyway,
so...
And then you went completely silent, Creepy, so it was, like, even more awkward.
Very much more awkward.
Okay. But no, that was technical problems. Decker's throughout my internet.
Anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of news to cover, especially with all of the news stuff that's been featuring, some good, some bad, some filled with controversy. Well, let's be honest, everything filled with controversy.
Thank you, Logan. I was thinking we were finally past the year that was bookmarked in the beginning by your assholery, but I was wrong.
Let's talk about that later.
Yes, we always save the best for last.
Because you are insistent on YouTube news.
Yeah, what the hell was I thinking there?
Anyway, so I guess we can start things off with, so we briefly talked about Alien Isolation and how...
Also on the subject of video games, one of the commenters is not on the chat right this red hot minute, but he was there a second ago asking me if I was going to be playing the Resident Evil 2 remake, and I do plan on getting it, but I got a lot of stuff right now, and I don't know, I'm not really super enthused for it. I've been watching other YouTubers play the 30-minute demo, and it's like, okay, so it's Resident Evil 2's story playing like Resident Evil 7 with a camera like Resident Evil 4. Got it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I guess it makes sense because the remake of Resident Evil 1 was just like a touch-up of basically like what would happen if we had the graphics of Resident Evil, 3 or 4 at the time, and just kind of like streamline it to make it a little bit more scary because of the limitations.
Well, I mean, Resident Evil 1's remake wasn't taking Resident Evil 4's graphics and...
No, I'm talking about like, I'm just talking about like the touch-ups.
Well, they went fucking all out with the Resident Evil 1 remake, and I was really impressed with that. And I was thinking, if they do another game like that, but with today's technology, imagine the visuals. And that's not what they did. And I'm like, damn it.
Yeah. Well, what can you do?
It still looks like a good game. It still looks fun, but I do have plenty of stuff I gotta play. The game I'm looking forward to, that I'm keeping an eye on, that is probably going to be what I'm spending a lot of time playing and not Resident Evil, is EDF Iron Rain. I know everyone's like, oh, it's the westernized EDF, but at the same time, it's like, I did get enjoyment out of Insect Armageddon, not as much as mainline EDF, but it's not a horrible game, and I know that's blasphemy to say that, but he's shooting a bunch of freaking ants to death from space aliens. The game didn't really... It's not that the game took itself too seriously. It's the game was too well acted and didn't take itself seriously, versus the game having a storyline that does take itself seriously, but is acted like total ass.
What can you do? It's kind of like a lose-lose situation in terms of like cult classic anything. You try to capture the same formula but don't do it as good, or you try to take itself a little bit more seriously with a bigger budget, but then it loses the charm of what made it so enjoyable in the first place. It's like it's a bit of a conundrum.
Insect Armageddon lost the charm, and it was also a really short game. It didn't have nearly as many weapons or levels or difficulty levels.
Or versions. Let's be honest, Decker. We know what you're looking for.
Yeah. But the point is, Iron Rain looks like it's going to have much larger levels, much larger battles, much more stuff than they had before. So I'm hoping that it's going to be something up my alley. It looks really good, and that's what I'm keeping my eye on. But yes, Alien Isolation, that was a fun one.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Years ago.
Yes, very fun game. Great. Great game to kind of like wash away the bitter aftertaste that was Aliens Colonial Marines. And so we're thinking, hey, because the game was so good, they should have a sequel, right? Well, while they're doing that, in the meantime, we're going to be having another standalone game called Alien Blackout, which you can get on your, get this, on your mobile phone devices. Because, I mean, come on. Don't you have phones? Yeah, I know.
Well, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 4, 4, 4 games dropped $2 saying EDF, giant ants and spiders. Then Kermit appears. And, but they look just like people.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're green, fuzzy people. Yep. That's normal.
Green amphibious humans.
It's, dear God, they really do look just like people.
All right, I'll read this one. Alien Blackout feels like a game made for on-the-go gadgets, delivering a tense experience through its platform of choice in a way that better draws players into the xenophobic world of Amanda Ripley.
Yeah, and Amanda just doesn't like. She's there like build the wall, damn it.
Yes. That the game, which many hope would be a sequel to computer and console title Alien Isolation, was made for smartphone and tablet, feels like a choice driven by the experience rather than some cash grab for the biggest audience possible. We'll see. We realized that we had a concept that we can do on mobile and design it on mobile day one, says Juka Lasko, CEO and co-founder of developer Rival Games.
We had a concept we could do on mobile. We just looked at Five Nights at Freddy's and like, hey, let's do that.
Sure. Specifically TQ Jefferson, Vice President of External Development at Fox Next, said they took the inspiration from one of the scariest moments from that 1979 movie. Which one? I don't know.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah, that one movie. Yeah, that one movie that has the alien in it, but I don't remember what the name is. There's this great scene in the first movie where Tom Skerritt is in one of the ducts and he has a motion sensor on him. And they're walking him through the duct saying, go here, go there. They say, wait, stop. It's on top of you. It's an incredible scene where he's saying, I'm not seeing it. And it's getting closer and closer. And then it's on him and he turns around and it's right there. It's a jump scare, one of the best scares of the film. This is how we ratchet up the tension in the game and the jump scares. In our time with the game playing Alien Blackout on an iPad, we were able to play through the first couple of missions of the game. The setup is that you play Amanda Ripley, daughter of Ellen Ripley. The game actually takes place in the same universe as the films and as of Alien Isolation, and even has the same voice actor for Amanda Ripley. Specifically, it takes place sometime after the game, though Jefferson notes that there are no specific time mentions, so we don't know how long after Isolation it takes place.
Well, did they explain what happened to Amanda after she got blasted out into space wearing a spacesuit and then the space station blew up?
It could be a prequel.
She didn't see the aliens before that Alien Isolation.
It's a convoluted timeline. You know, like how they try to like squeeze a whole bunch of stuff in that wasn't there. It's like, oh no, but it was there the whole time. So
God damn it.
There is room for an Isolation 2, he said, or beyond that.
Adam Wolford is saying no, he had the flamethrower, not the tracker. And yeah, that was Lambert that had the tracker.
Yeah. In continuity, I don't know anymore. Or let's see. We know that fans are really excited about Isolation 2, so we're not going to dash that opportunity. When we started this project, we thought about things like, is this going to get in the way of Isolation 2? He added that Isolation 2 is currently not in development.
Oh, so that's just a fucking wonderful little twist of the knife there. Thank you very much for it.
But Alien Blackout does have a bit of that feel to it. Just a bit. Just a little bit. In the game, players take on Ripley, who has awoken in a space station where she is placed in hypersleep after being discovered and saved by the crew members there.
So it takes place immediately after Isolation? Non-specifically immediately after Isolation.
I mean, it just says it right here that we don't know just how long Isolation it takes place. It could take place immediately. It could take place 37 years.
Well, I mean, for Amanda, from her perspective, pretty much immediately. But if it takes place like 50 years, like, well, shit. Amanda grew old and died. That's something that happened in between Alien and Aliens. So it couldn't have been that long.
I have no idea.
Unless Weyland Yutani just knew ahead of time that she was really fucking important. And she's off in hypersleep somewhere else while Ellen's still alive. And instead of just telling her she was lost in space at some point, they're like, fuck it, she just grew old, died, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, watch them come up with an interview saying that, the film and the video games, they take place in a different universe.
Michael Wolf says, in space, no one can hear you bitching.
I don't like space anymore.
I feel like that should be the tagline for Decker's the Predator review.
Oh,
And
God.
no one can hear you bitching.
Jack Brand dropped $5 saying the Dune 2020 movie by director Denis Villeneuve apparently has been mostly cast. What are your thoughts? Should it have been on Netflix or HBO? And I haven't seen the original Dune. Or I know like it's like blasphemy. It's like everywhere. Dune is like just under Star Wars in terms of what sci-fi people know about. And I'm just there like, yeah. I've seen about as much of that as I've seen of Flash Gordon. They're like, you haven't seen Flash Gordon either? It's like, no, what? Sorry, I don't know.
What about Flash Gordon, Decker?
I've seen that. I've seen Flash Gordon, actually.
Okay. Flash Gordon, but you have seen the parody of Flash Gordon. Okay.
Okay.
Random thing, just throwing this out here right now, since we're not on the topic of movies, but on the topic of things that Decker has reviewed in the past. Say, Decker, did you know that there's going to be a Scooby-Doo movie that is a sequel to The 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo called The Curse of the 13th Ghost?
Oh, yeah. I think we covered that on Live and Wired, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We did talk about that on Live and Wired.
Oh, we did? Okay. Yeah, that's right. We did. I'd forgotten about that.
I mean, there are rumors, actually. I don't know if it's true, but I did hear rumors that there might be a sequel to Zombie Island.
Oh, I've heard that too. That's been floating around too. I haven't heard anything like that definitively confirms it, but I wouldn't know that. But I was wondering, Decker, how about we review that one together?
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's a good idea, since you guys actually did it the first time.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will not be that bad, Decker. Could be worse.
Decker, you've sat through Asylum films. How is this worse?
Exactly. You have to cover Atlantic Rim eventually.
Don't battle me with your logic. Anyway, Alien.
Yeah.
Blackout.
It's the player's job the game opens up on a ship unknowingly docking with the station for repairs only to discover they're trapped there with a xenomorph. It's the player's job as Ripley to guide the 4 crew members through the levels of the station to retrieve the parts they need to repair the ship and escape with Ripley. So what is this? Is this like okay. So what is this? Is this kind of like, you're guiding the players and hopefully they don't die?
No, not players, NPCs. You are the player.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, we are the player. We're all the player.
We've got Carlos Angel dropped $2 said, please review Dune and Flash Gordon. And 1237844 Games said dropped $2 and said, Decker review that movie and do Summer of Asylum.
Oh God. Oh God. Summer of Asylum. I know that there's plenty of Asylum movies to pick from, but dear God.
Continue though, Patricia. I apologize for
No, you're fine. The fact that there might be a possible Summer of Asylum just fills me with glee. Anyway, the gameplay chiefly takes place through the interface that Ripley is using while hiding in the ductwork to avoid the alien. The device, which also happened to look like a tablet, I wonder why, is connected to the system's camera, door controls, and motion detectors. It also allows Ripley to direct the team members. Players use the top-down schematic view of the floor. The crew is to open doors, turn on motion sensors, and view cameras, which taps on the screen. Players can use power to activate up to 5 things at once, any assortment of motion sensors and doors. They can also tap cameras at will, or just use the map view to see the dots where crew members are located. The alien only shows up if seen through a camera or when spotted by a crew member who is often screaming and running, or on a motion sensor when they move. Touching a crew member can also bring up commands to hurry or sneak, hide or come out of hiding, stop or go. A player can also draw on the screen to show where to head.
Yeah, the problem, I'd kind of rather just play Lemmings with xenomorphs.
Yeah, this gameplay does sound oddly familiar to a particular other very popular horror PC game that I don't know if we can say the name without causing a bit of anger towards people because they're getting sick of it at this point. But let's just continue. The problem is that the more you issue direct commands to a crew member, the more noise that you make. The more noise that you make, the greater the possibility that the alien will stop hunting those hapless crew members and instead turn its attention to you. This is where things get a little bit more interesting. As you play the game, focus on the tablet in Ripley's hands. You can tap to drop off that view and into a first-person view of Ripley as she sits in the ductwork by a door. If the alien is coming, you'll hear it and maybe even catch some movements. When that happens, players need to manually close the door to protect Ripley or it's game over. Yeah, this is definitely sounding like Five Nights at Freddy's to me.
Yes. Five Nights with Aliens, or would it be Five Nights with Ripley?
Five Nights with Ripley, yeah. Or if it's even Five Nights, maybe it's in Millennia. I don't know. The first level of the game, which opens with the crew arriving at the space station, featured a relatively small map that includes 5 cameras, 11 doors, and 3 motion tracking zones. But Lasco says that the levels will grow in size and the missions grow in complexity as players work through the levels. The entire experience of directing the crewmates through the map in a game of fatal cat and mouse intertwined with the need to keep yourself safe to deliver an unnerving game. If some elements of Alien Blackout sound familiar to fans of Five Nights at Freddy's, that's not surprising. Well, there you go. Lasco says Five Nights at Freddy's was in some ways a jumping off point for this game. The goal was to tick off the same sort of boxes that both Five Nights and Isolation will do in terms of fear and tension.
Well, that's an interesting way of saying you ripped it off whole cloth. But
yeah. So, yeah, I'm just going to skip over to this part because the rest of it is, I don't... Okay, so the game is going to be going on sale for $5 at the Amazon Store, the App Store, and Google Play on January 24th. So, if any of you guys are interested in Five Nights at Freddy's and Alien, then this game is clearly for you.
Scott Duncan saying 5 Nights at the Nostromo's Pizza. Jesse Guayardo says, fuck! Oh, God. Why? How hard? Wait. So you release a game. Good game. Great game. Fantastic game in a series of games that generally has a very hard time even being acceptable. You release a game. Fantastic game. Everyone's like, more of this, please. And you're like, we hear you loud and clear. And we're not fucking listening. Take this shit instead.
Oh, 1237844 Games dropped $5 and said, I've already played this knockoff game in the past. When's the detail about Blackout coming? I thought it was making an original idea.
Oh, God. But hey, we can still make original Aliens games. You know, it's still possible. We can still make... There's opportunity here for sequels to Alien Isolation that you'd rather play. And I've got a few here that I'd like to talk about, a few ideas for the Live and Wired poll. Okay, so which sequel to Alien Isolation would all of you lovely bastards like to play rather than Alien Blackout? Now, first of all, we have Alien Deflection. Now, in this one, it's played entirely on a little motion tracker. The alien is that little dot that's moving along. And as it gets close, you got Amanda Ripley on the one side, and she's controlling a wall of flame to keep the alien back. And on the other side, you got Wayland Yutani. They got their own wall of flame, and but they can only keep so much flame going at once. The alien's going to go over to one side in a predictable little pattern, and you got to position the flame wall to block it, and then it'll go back the other way in a predictable pattern. And then you position the other flame wall and back and forth, and then until it goes into the side of the one. Then you get a point. It's similar to another game you might have heard of. It's that game from the 70s, Pong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one game, yeah.
That's Alien Deflection.
Okay.
Now, we also have this other one where you have the xenomorph hive all built up with the little xenomorph eggs inside that you got to smash. But the problem is you're all the way over here with a catapult and various different alien universe trinkets to throw in as bombs or just big rocks of smashy smash and all that stuff. That's Alien Trajectory. There's also the one where Amanda Ripley has to use her flamethrower to fill up a little hot air balloon to lift herself up to get through various parts of a duct system and continue on to escape from a chasing alien, Alien Ascension. And finally, where Amanda... Well, she's just at the food court trying to destroy candy. It's an Alien Confectionery.
Mm.
And so we have that choice: alien deflection, alien trajectory, alien ascension, or alien confectionery. 30 minutes starting now on Twitter at DeckerShado. As soon as I find where my mouse pointer went, there it is. And I'll be sending this link to Patricia to put into the chats.
Yes, please choose wisely. I would love to see what game you would rather play than Alien Five Nights at Ripley's. All right, let me just get through that. Yeah, so I got some other news that's...
Charles Lee Ray asked, review Demonic Toys, please. I thought I already did. A long time ago.
It's like a long time ago.
And Demonic Toys, too. Unless there's another one. There's Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys. I haven't done that one.
Yeah. There's a somewhat... Steven Spencer said, eating pizza with creepy.
Leading Blind says, I play a Patricia / Decker / creepy road trip video game. That'd be fun. We have a $10 bill from Gray Jelly who says, ha 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 ha, finally caught you guys live, and just in time to hear about the alien FNAF resking clone thing. Anyway, here's some upside down money. Thank you very much for the upside down money, Gray Jelly.
10 Australian dollars. We can buy ourselves a kangaroo or two.
Yeah, absolutely. I can
they
get
only
myself...
accept Australian dollars. I tried. It's like
I'm gonna get myself.
I can still get koalas, but who wants koalas?
I want a dingo. I want a wallaby. I want a boomerang. I want maybe a scorpion to scare off my enemies, and maybe a giant spider and a snake.
I want a pet shark.
Yes, and a shark. We need to have a shark.
Just all the most poisonous spiders in the world. I don't know. Australia is a badass country.
Boxing kangaroos.
Leading Blind says, I want to see Patricia do another crossover with Decker, please. Oh, that's very nice. It'll have to be something that Decker and I can cover in order for it to, possibly. But, it's up to Decker if he wants to have me another crossover. The last time it was Monkey
did Nickelodeon have anything that involved a body count?
Has Nickelodeon any new horror movies that they subsequently banned because
that's right, we did the Crybaby Lane review.
Right.
Let's see. I mean a body count. I have to get back to you.
The Japanese Spider-Man has a body count. A hell of a body count.
Oh, Zim. Yeah, Zim. Are you afraid of the dark?
Not very good at his job.
No.
Zim had a body.
Should we tell the viewers what Spider-Man's little trap in the last episode we did a riff on?
Actually, the Epic Jason X9000 said that Invader Zim had a body count.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. It did. Because well, you know how there's an episode of Invader Zim called Dark Harvest where Zim wanted to fit in with society by actually stealing other people's organs and stuffing it into himself, and he replaced it with stuff. Yes. And then, there was this one episode where he tried to get a best friend, and he actually decided that he didn't need him anymore. So he pulls out his eyes and he replaces it with robot eyes to make it look like a squirrel with Zim. It's some pretty messed up stuff. And Enter the Florpus, which is the new Invader Zim TV movie, will be coming out this year. So who knows? Maybe
forward to
that.
Yeah, and maybe
an episode where Zim was experimenting with time travel, and each time he changed something in the past, he ended up making
he started making Dib even more sick, and he tries to kill him off and replace items with stuffed pigs.
Right. To explain something real quick, Dib Decker is Zim's arch nemesis. He is the Mulder of the show, where he's constantly trying to prove to his classmates that Zim is an alien sent to infiltrate and conquer Earth. But the problem is Dib has called Wolf so many times, so to speak, on these kinds of things that nobody really cares or believes him. So there's this point where he is sending squeaky pig toys back through time, and it keeps inadvertently ruining Dib's life more and more and making him worse and worse until eventually he completely cripples Dib. But then Dib's father turns him into a cyborg.
Yeah, and if you were to listen to the commentary, Jonan Vasquez wanted Dib to die and replace him with another character. And then we're like, Nickelodeon said, no, you can't do that. So it's like, you know what? Let's just turn him into a cyborg.
So yeah, there are some fucked up episodes of Invader Zim. So I think that
I mean, to be fair, I mean, it only lasted for 2 seasons, so it didn't really last like it only lasted for like a handful of episodes right before it was canceled.
Right, but I mean, like, it has like this.
Cool, I can fit it on a couple of discs, and I can watch it in one sitting.
Yeah, you can actually. Yeah, good luck getting the
that
DVDs.
Day I watched 11 and a half hours of Apes.
That's true. I remember that. Yeah.
I remember, the reaction to that. Like, I got an email from Decker afterwards, like, apes. It's like, and this was like not long after Decker and I had just started corresponding with each other, and this was back when people actually used email still. But like, I got an email from Decker, and it was just apes. I was staring at my computer screen, going, blink. Blink. So I'm like actually sitting here wondering, so am I witnessing someone's nervous breakdown again? Is this a coded message? I'm like going through like the different options that I have in my head, and I'm just wondering if I should, like, you know what, I'll worry about this later. Close.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, thank you for the offer of a possible crossover with Decker. So, you know, maybe it'll happen in the future, but Decker, I'm sure, is already busy with his other stuff. So we'll wait into the meantime.
I will admit I am a little bit jealous of you getting to review Invader Zim.
I mean, I'm sure that you probably can squeeze in. I mean, after all, you know, you're one of the family.
Oh, thank you.
Aww.
And besides, I mean, Decker probably couldn't last like a second with watching a few episodes without you helping him creepy.
I don't know if what I would do would constitute as help.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, but like, Invader Zim was a seriously messed up show, so...
I mean, you essentially have a guy who was very well known for creating such dark comic books, known, you know, like Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, I Feel Sick, and Squee. And then you basically just look at his work. It's like, okay, you have a guy who's very demented, who talks about suicide and talks about like killing bodies and feeding blood to his wall. Yeah, let's give that guy a show for kids.
I'd do it. Of course, that might not exactly be the best endorsement.
Right. You didn't mean that this was a good idea. You're just saying that if you had the opportunity, you would do it.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
The thing about it is that it had some really interesting concepts. It's just that, unfortunately, the show was canceled before they could really follow all the way through with them. But
yeah, exactly. They have done the comic book series from Oni Press, and that apparently did so well that Enter the Florpus is going to be based off of the first volume of the comic. So that should be, I mean, that just goes to show you that, you know, if comics do really well for, you know, especially, you know, if it's a comic series that is based on a cult classic, then it can come back in one way, shape, or form. And and nobody thought that Nickelodeon would ever bring back Invader Zim. Like 10 years ago, they pretended like the show didn't even exist.
Anthony Hudak said maybe Decker could handle Elfin Lead, and I'm pretty sure that's not a Nickelodeon.
No, it's not. That is an anime.
No, it's not a Nickelodeon.
Not even close.
I mean, I'd be impressed if it was. Like, damn, times have changed.
I don't know. I remember some Angry Beavers episodes that kind of made me raise an eyebrow a time or two, and I was like, they actually got away with that. But then again, they named the show Angry Beavers, so...
Yeah, that's true.
Fair enough.
I mean, there's an entire episode where they're spoofing off a 1950s B movie called The Day the World Got Really Screwed Up.
Does anybody remember, just offhand, here and in the chat, does anyone remember the episode where Norb kept watching like bad, like 50s sci-fi B movies on late night cable and kept having sleepwalking nightmares about
Yes, that is called, that episode is called Food of the clods.
Yeah, right, because he was eating junk food while he was watching old bad sci-fi movies about monsters and so forth.
This sounds like a very well spent evening so far.
Yes, it is.
And
there's this one episode. There was this one moment in which it was like some sort of like alien creatures from Venus, and they were eating lava so they can continue to grow. And so Daggett decides that he wanted to stop Norbert sleepwalking, and he decides that he was going to do the same thing, but instead of watching a B movie, he ended up watching a used like car salesman commercial, and he just started to like, or was it a dancing commercial? And he just started to like act like a car salesman.
Close to that, yeah. It was like, and so instead of emulating a sci-fi monster, he was emulating like an aerobics dance instructor.
Yeah, there we go, an aerobics dance instructor. That's what it was.
Nice footwork from a Viking from Venus.
Oh man.
Okay, so news. Yes, we should get back to news. Mm-hmm. All right, so this one I actually did find, and I thought it was really hilarious. So, you guys know about The Exorcist, right?
Yeah.
You know, one of the apparently one of the scariest movies of all time. Very iconic.
Really? I thought it was a romantic comedy.
No. That's The Exorcise. You're confusing it with The Exorcist. So, yeah, there you go. Anyway, so yeah, Linda Blair, played famously as, being possessed by, a demon. And then we have The Exorcist 2, where they try to explain about like the monsters, the demon's origins. And then it was like all this mixed up stuff. And apparently everybody hated it. And so much so that the one person who really hated it was the director of the first Exorcist himself, who called it one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever seen.
Now, I've never seen The Exorcist 2, but I do believe I saw... Was it the Nostalgia Critic review it?
Possibly. I don't know.
I remember some weird shit involving James Earl Jones and Tomato.
Yeah, that's the one. James Earl Jones dressing up as like a giant hornet and, close-up shots and
he spits a tomato onto the... nails on the ground, and then the guy just like, after seeing that, he's like, well, that sounds like an idea, and he steps on the nails like an idiot.
Yeah. All right, so who wants to read this?
Zard Leader 97 also says Locust.
Okay, yeah, he dressed up as a locust, not a hornet. But
I guess I could read this out.
Go ahead.
Horror sequel Exorcist II: The Heretic was a critical and commercial disaster when it was released in 1977. Yeah, that movie from 1977. Over time, the film has gained something of a cult following and was recently re-released as a 2-disc collector's edition Blu-ray by Scream Factory. One person who maintains that the movie is among the worst films ever made, however, it's not like the people collecting it disagree with that, is William Friedkin, the director of 1973's original franchise starting The Exorcist. I tell you, I did see a great deal of Exorcist 2 under the following circumstances. Friedkin told hosts John Olson and Joe Dante in a just-released episode of the Movies That Made Me podcast. I was at the Technicolor Lab color timing something, and one of the timers said, "We just finished Exorcist 2. Would you like to have a look at it?" And I don't know why, but I went into the room and I sat through maybe 40 minutes of it. It was the worst piece of shit I've ever seen. It's a fucking disgrace, and God, what a cast it had. Richard Burton and Max von Sydow and Louis Fletcher, plus Linda Blair, James Earl Jones. That's the worst 40 minutes of film I've ever seen, really, and that's saying a lot. Exorcist II: The Heretic was directed by John Borman. Wow. The multiple Oscar nominee responsible for Point Blank, Deliverance, Excalibur, and Hope and Glory. Friedkin's other directing credits include The French Connection, for which he won the Best Director Oscar, and To Live and Die in L.A. Representatives for Borman did not immediately reply to Ew's request for comment.
Yes. Yeah, so apparently he really hated the sequel, which, I mean, from its reputation, I suppose it kind of makes sense, especially since, he directed the first one. He's like, I would have never have done this for the second one. So, well, yeah, woof. Although I think that Exorcist 3 did kind of help it to, bring it back to, its original roots of an exorcism and, a demon taking over a person's body and being really creepy. I mean, Brad Dourif...
Leading Blind in chat says Exorcist 3 might be the best George C. Scott film I've personally ever seen. Sorry, I refuse to watch Patton.
Fair enough. Although, the Christmas Carol where he was Ebenezer Scrooge was pretty good too. But yeah, Brad Dourif's portrayal as as the demon was amazing. It was really creepy and very, very tense and terrifying.
Scott Duncan saying, I still think when James was doing lines for Darth Vader, he was still in the locust costume.
That does make for a very funny mental image. I will say that.
It is pretty funny, yeah.
No, I am your father. Of course, he wasn't doing those lines yet, but the point is,
I am your father. I know my spots in hell.
Can somebody get the braid spray?
Also, I spoiled that movie for all the people who hadn't seen that yet.
Oops.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Shame on you, Decker. Shame.
Yeah.
Shame.
I spoiled the movie. That's worse than like copyright infringement right there. Moving spoiling. That's the real crime.
Yep.
The real crime is spoiling a movie before it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Remember back in the 90s when you didn't have the internet access so easily and, like all this information wasn't made readily available. So when you went to a movie, you weren't even really sure what you were going to get.
Yeah, in order for you to understand what a movie was about, you probably watch Entertainment Weekly on TV and maybe get an interview with a celebrity or maybe read it off the newspaper or see it in a magazine.
Mm-hmm. And even then, it would be they tended to be kind of vague about some things. Like, you might get a couple of like behind the scenes photos and, talks about, did you have fun making this movie? Oh yeah, I had a blast. I was awake for like 15 hours one day without sleep or coffee or food or anything, but it was awesome.
Amanda Tucker says YouTube kicked us off. We missed some. Like, man.
I'm
damn you, dude.
Damn you.
They pay my checks, but it's still like.
Epic Jason X9000 asks, would you ever consider doing a review of the Hannibal Lecter films? Manhunter, Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, Red Dragon, and Hannibal Rising.
That's like the sum of eating people.
Eating liver with a nice Chianti.
It's not the Golden Corral. That's just Gordon Corral.
And I'm imagining the first review starting off with a actual piece of liver, like not a human liver, but like liver, different they're sitting down,
maybe foie gras or calf liver.
With fava beans.
With fava beans and
a nice Chianti.
You had a nice Chianti. It's like, hello there, I'm personality with the tastiest internal organs.
As soon as I eat, and I was like, wait, what am I going to digest these with? Oh God.
Okay, let's take a look at some other stuff. This is when I found this one about a week ago, and I just couldn't believe it because it was just so crazy that anybody would attempt this. So, you guys heard of Bird Box, right? It's been pretty much all over the internet ever since.
I watched that, and it's like it's got its moments, but it's also cliche as fuck. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely not going to have longevity.
Sure. But let me ask you something. Would you ever attempt to do the Bird Box challenge?
Oh, brother.
Well, considering anytime anyone asks me to do a challenge, I'm like, why?
Well, somebody did in Utah. So in Utah, somebody attempted to do the Bird Box challenge while they were driving a car with their eyes covered, and he was involved in a car accident. Like you do.
I'll do this one. I'll do this one.
Yes, please do so.
KUTV. A Utah teenager may face a reckless driving charge. Duh.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's a good idea to do this challenge in any way, shape, or form, but if you are going to do that, number 1, wear your seatbelt. Number 2, stay under 10 miles an hour. Number 3, stay on your own property. I know it's going to be really hard to be able to do that if your eyes are closed, but also you're not even supposed to have your eyes closed in that. You're just supposed to black out the windows and use the GPS.
Right. After trying to complete the Bird Box challenge on the highway on Monday, approximately 4:50 p.m.,
I had to watch so many videos when getting my license about don't text and drive. Taking your eyes off the road is so dangerous. And now we got the fucking Bird Box challenge.
Right.
My kids are gonna have to watch a thing when they grow up, when they're trying to get their license. It's like, don't blindfold yourself and attempt to drive.
Yes. A 17-year-old girl was driving on Layton Parkway near Interstate 15, according to Lieutenant Travis Lyman with the Layton Police Department. Bird Box challenge while driving, predictable result. This happened on Monday as a result of the driver covering her eyes while driving on Layton Parkway. Luckily, no injuries. That's kind of amazing.
Yes.
The teen and a 16-year-old passenger decided to try the Bird Box challenge, where participants blindfold themselves and see if they can do everyday tasks. The driver pulled a beanie over her eyes and kept driving, Lyman says.
And there's a video of it, but we're not going to play it.
Okay. Shortly after, the teen overcorrected and skidded into the eastbound lanes. She hit another car, a light pole, and a sound wall. Lyman says no one was injured in the crash. Ow! Have more luck. I mean, like, there are people who were hit by accident, not doing stupid things, and they don't have this kind of luck. What the hell? No one was injured.
Well, her insurance rates are going to hurt for a while.
Police are screening a reckless driving charge with the city attorney's office. Not a bad thing, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, God. John Ratsey says, what's next? Airplane drivers doing the airplane pilots doing the Bird Box challenge while landing, ignoring the air traffic control.
Also, let me see. I had the article here. I want to see if I can find it, because there's another thing about the Bird Box challenge that it was okay, here we go. I need to move this over to this computer, so give me just a
You
moment.
can give me the link, You can give me the link, Creepy. I'll post it.
It's not. It's a screen. It's a screenshot of a Twitter post, I think.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
So that's where the obstacle is, unfortunately. But
we got 8 minutes left on that Twitter poll.
I can't wait to see what game you want.
Yeah. Okay. Come on.
The Nestine 100 says, excuse me, teen may have reckless driving charges for driving blindfolded. What the fuck do you mean, may face charges?
I'm with them, actually, on this one. I'm like, may face charges? Like, as in they're not certain?
Nicole7891 says, I can crash a car with my eyes open.
Okay. Yeah, here we go. Finally, and apologies for the delay. Okay, here we go. Share, and here we go. Does everyone see that?
That's me right now. Oh, there it is.
Okay. 3 bank robbery suspects in custody after Bird Box challenge chase. Foot pursuit in Dallas.
Oh, that's beautiful.
What?
So let's just take a moment
to that.
Yeah, let's unpack that. So 3 people robbed a bank, and then during their escape thought that performing the Bird Box challenge while driving was a good idea. You know those heist movies where bank robbers are like super
I should never complain in horror movies when characters do things that are just incredibly dumb. Right. I was like, that's no way that no, Decker, you are wrong. You are so wrong. There is a way. People can be that dumb. They're just like, okay, fuck it, why not?
Hey, we're on the run from a serial killer. Let's get drunk and have sex while the car's still moving, and the driver will blindfold themselves just to make sure that we die. Like, if the killer won't even, we're doing the killer's job for it. But yeah, apparently, like those heist movies where bank robbers are like super, super professional and like meticulous and prepare like weeks or months in advance, like getting every single detail down pat, and I'm like, and then you have these 3 idiots.
You win.
Yeah,
you win.
I feel like the reason why bank robbers never get away is not because the cops are that good, but just because they do stupid shit like this during their getaway.
Oh.
I actually thought that was what I actually misremembered. I thought that you were going to bring that up at first, and then you talked about it was the other teenager. But I was like, I had to.
Brian Orr would say, "No, trust me, people in real life are far dumber than they are in horror movies." And I'm just thinking, what if I was a slasher villain and someone is trying to escape from me, and they're that stupid? I would be so like annoyed at them after I reached them. Like, what the hell? I'm trying to chase you down to kill you, and you're fucking bumping into the walls wearing a blindfold. Sit up, run, bitch! Jesus.
There's no point in being a serial killer anymore. People are doing this shit.
This just takes all the fun out of the chase. Jeez.
Gray Jelly dropped to
Australian dollars.
I was going to say, I'm going to assume Australian, and said $2 Australian, and said, these days, natural selection has to get creative.
My God. I need to find something less stupid.
Yeah, please.
Well, I got something way stupider. I could do my little dramatic reading here.
Oh, okay. Now I guess we can do that. Sure.
This is an interesting one. As far as I can tell, this particular story, which is posted, well, according to the timestamp, tomorrow. But it's, as far as I can tell from the text in it, it was originally posted on Push Square. But then, evidently, it got translated by machine into some other language. And then it was translated, probably by machine again, back into English onto gadgetsnow.website.
Okay. I've never heard of that website, so sure.
Let me screen share my screen one. I'll share that. Boom, here it is. It's amazing. This is Soapbox PSVR discount journey. One man's try to reclaim his gaming glory days.
Oh, this
by Gadgets Now. By Gadgets Now. Tomorrow. So.
Coming tomorrow. Today.
Oh, God. Final autumn. My spouse went away for some time. I bought to considering, what if I purchased a large pile of PlayStation VR equipment on eBay, spent each waking hour catching up on years of missed gaming, then offered every part once more earlier than she got here again, as if nothing ever occurred? Would that even be doable? How a lot wouldn't it value? What may probably go unsuitable? What follows is the story of a secret plot, a story of greed and riches. Take it, please, as inspiration. However, take it, too, as warning. How it at all times was! Once I was 10, my greatest good friend lived in a road known as the Inexperienced. It was a semi-detached circle of Welsh suburbia, round a clump of mature timber and broad open grass. A steep sideways slope made for wacky soccer, and a set of balls within the backyard of bottom-end quantity 4. However, we ignored the sunshine lots of the time. He had an Atari ST, and boy did we recreation! We shut the blinds on an experienced house and splurged the free time riches of 10-year-olds on Delphine Software's Programs 1991 traditional One Other World. That recreation dropped our jaws with its ending. We stood over an odd and magical paranorma, mounted a winged beast, and soared triumphantly from a tower prime. It was a dream made actual. It was the reward of the contemporary air and solar we sacrificed. How it at all times is. I am not 10 anymore, sadly, not even shut. I am unable to be a gamer now. Both time gaining could be time unshared with my spouse. Even 2 of us time is time saved from our little boy. Should you wish to take it to the subsequent logical step, any cash spent on video games could be cash out of his future. And we're anticipating one other. These golden gaming days are lengthily gone. Or are they? Final November, Destiny dropped me a gap. By household circumstance, we discovered we must be outside for 5 weeks. Spouse and son in Japan, me dwelling alone within the UK. Completely different sides of the globe, completely different time zones. So this is the plan. I get on eBay and purchase a 10-year-old's fantasy of gaming paraphernalia. I get a PS4 Professional. I get an enormous stack of video games. I get a PSVR. I get the transfer controllers, the intention controller, and any recreation I need. I've got all of it. Then I promote it. I return to regular life, and nobody has to know something about it. Except for this article I wrote. Fantasy procuring record. Late November, I flew again from Tokyo. leaving my household there. The time had come. The dream was about to be made actual. However, what precisely was the dream? To the point, I'd simply deliberate to get all of it. However, that doesn't assist in the eBay search field. Finally, I centered on PSVR and the video games. The very website you're studying proper now had satisfied me had been important. Not actually this website, but Foursquare probably. Right here is the procuring checklist. I poked around eBay and spreadsheeted typical costs. I assume you may take the boy out of center age, however you may take center age out of the boy. I saved 1,000 searches and buzzed continuous with secret notification at work. Finally, I hit some appropriate bundles. A PS4 Professional with stack of video games, a pleasant bonus to play a few of these. And a PSVR bundle with 5 VR video games I had listed, one I hadn't, Riggs, and The Final Guardian, which I immediately remembered I had been craving to play for 10 years. I ticked off the remainder of the wish list, in particular, person purchases. Right here's the harm. I purchased the PS4 on Saturday, and the man delivered it in his valeted white saloon automotive that afternoon. He left his profile image on the machine, smiling at dwelling together with his companion and their cat. A cheery greeting each time I booted it up on newly bachelored pad. The PSVR arrived on a weekday, so I ran to the published workplace after work and snuck in at closing to the irritation of the already coat-and-hatted clerk. My arms throbbed on the weight of the best way dwelling. The dream had arrived. Okay, a Grey Jelly dropped $2 Australian and says, "This reads like Half-Life, full life consequences."
I feel like I am reading the beginning of a plot to a video game, except like this should segue into some Captain N shit or something like that.
Oh god. Unboxing the dream. I went 100 million on my creativeness's YouTube for the final word unboxing. The hopes of recaptured youth launched with a pant from a corner-torn Sony field of convincing bulk. The PS4 Professional slipped and sucked out of the field, puffing with it a crisp, carefree pine scent of automotive air freshener. Yuck. Another person's freshened air. I didn't need another person's life to come back with my video games. That is my non-public indulgence, and another person's is gross. I cracked out the disinfectant wipes and slicked each millimeter of that bundle. Cables taut to wash, penknife within the plastic seams, tissued of dug crud. I'm now the world's main professional in disinfecting Sony electronics. Subsequent up was the PSVR bundle. It was packed in an off-brand oven chips field with a mile of tape. The tape left the cardboard flimsy and limp, virtually damp. I flapped it open and woof! Pub carpet stink. Fags and beer, and fag ends and beer empties, and faint, low-cost, optimistic aftershave. I seemed by the rising inexperienced cloud on a sloppy rubber headset seal that was going to must lip onto my face. We're going to want extra wipes, and possibly some pine air freshener. It took scrubbing, scraping, and a single day airing and soaking. However, I used to be lastly able to put my head into the factory. I began with VR Worlds to see if the PSVR tech was actually prepared for prime time. In Greece, simply sitting within the recreation foyer, I'm terrified. I typically get an agoraphobic tingle when gaming. Broad expanses of water usually do it. And I used to be tingling huge time, wanting nervously behind me. Abruptly, in VR, the sports threw out me. I don't personal the surroundings any extra. It's neat rectangle within the nook of my front room, my area. The sport shuts out every part else. Concern and thrill. The tech is prepared, and then it has awesome energy. I resist it. A nostalgic dream wrangled into a selected checklist, reached out for. Now in my life, the previous desires are actual. Oh god. Perry20 says, "Looks like Decker's shadow finally became the shadow." Tucking in. All else I wanted earlier than driving into my swimming pool of video games was a good friend. Luckily, with a free home, it was straightforward to recruit one other former gamer determined dad with the identical rose-tinted varifocals. Over the course of a weekend, we chomped greedily by video games like Billionaires by Caviar. If one was not instantly to our style, we merely hung our mouths open and waited for it to fall out. That is what billionaires do. 1 recreation every WWE's 2K17 and 2K18, 1 every FIFA 15, 16, and 17. The final of us was subsequent and would not even match within the slot bulging with all the recreation of the years. I actually needed to hammer it in. I googled, and apparently it will get good after 3-4 hours. Next! On to the meat of it, Resident Evil 7. Not even humorous. These first 30 minutes had been a masterclass in horror gaming. I've by no means spent so lengthy a recreation, simply standing nonetheless. My good friend laughed at me till he had to go. That was a recreation I get here and again to complete. Job Simulator. £50 for 25 minutes. Making an attempt to be humorous isn't as humorous as scaring the shit out of somebody. Neither is it as humorous because the London heist, recreation in VR worlds, tickle that gangster's gurning chin, drop all his weapons out of the automotive door, see for those who can climb out yourself. Over egging like a mime artist, throw a soda cup at a killer motorcyclist, sit again and die. Giggle, discs, mendacity round, blinds closed, freedom spent with abandon. The previous dream is actual. Layabouts lowdown. So, all informed, I am £750 within the gap, and what have I bought? It will not be as pudding to push square readers as it is to me. However, gaming-wise, I've gone from has-been to has-it-all. From the place I can see the reducing fringe of console gaming, even when I'm not fairly going to try to minimize myself. Here's the way it seems to me. VR Worlds. Jumped up demo disc. I bought nice mileage out of it, particularly enjoying with associates. Important for PSVR newbies, I'd say. Job Simulator. Strive hard humor, child-friendly content material, although, and primary, harmless enjoyable. Plus, you need your strikes for one thing. Resident Evil 7 VR. Ought to be a PSVR system seller. Creeping and peeping. Thrills like a TV cannot handle. Ferociously scary. Do not play in a creaky previous home when your loved one's away. Farpoint. A fairly rail walk with an excellent sense of scale. Remark gasoline. The intention controller is a forgotten novelty. Talk about. Skyrim VR. Expertise the majesty of being immersed in residing respiratory 2007 PC recreation. I half anticipated a pop about sound card compatibility. Desperately dated. However, I've formed to see the enchantment. Wipeout Omega assortment. Sensible VR implementation. Flip out the abs anti-barf programs for those who can abdomen it. Should you like Wipeout, you may like it in VR. Res Infinite. A traditional deed on again within the day in VR. It's Doodle. So delightfully stress-free. Stage 5 stays an unparalleled 20-minute treatise on the enjoyment of video games. Now you will be inside it. Superhot VR. Wow. An astonishing expertise. Not possible without VR. Would this alone justify the numerous value of headset, digicam, and transfer controllers? Perhaps. Okay, sure. Killer app territory, however, requires participant mobility. To a lot of good factor? Oh, God. Oh, okay, so there's a lot more. I think I'm pretty much got the point across. There's the backside line down here. Oh, God. Let's just cut off screen share. So that's on gadgets.now.website/soapbox-psvr-discount-journey-1-mans-try-2-reclaim-his-glory-a/. So, how do you feel?
My brain is melted.
I
think everybody else is saying the same thing. By the time that this live stream is over, I'm going to be brain numb.
Yeah. Right. Reasonable Ram's like, and boy, did we recreation. Sounds like something Sandra Bullock would say in Demolition Man.
There were words in that document.
Yeah, Lazarus Soul is asking, so, did that fucker like the PSVR?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, my head.
This is a little fun little, what the hell am I reading that I just had to read?
That's
part
fine.
of, but it's too fucking long. Yeah. Like everyone's, people are saying, pretty sure people have been jumping ship. I see that we're down like 20 or 30 viewers. Sorry about that.
Nice job there, Decker.
Yeah, I really know how to bring them in. That's why we need Patricia. I'm like, Patricia, I got an idea for the show. She's like, yeah, I guess maybe. And I could hear I could hear in your voice. You didn't trust me, and it's a good reason.
Well, while we're on the subject, I guess we might as well get over to the results of the Twitter poll.
Oh yes. The Twitter poll.
Someone please stop Google Translate from writing. It's bad at it.
Okay, which sequel to Alien Isolation would you like to take? Would you take to play over Alien Blackout? Coming in at number 1, Alien Confectionery.
Yay! I can't wait to see candy-colored xenomorphs.
But close behind, 37% instead of 33% instead of 37 was Alien Trajectory.
I can see that.
I mean, they haven't had a good Angry Birds clone in a while, so...
Yeah, that's true. They had an Angry Birds Star Wars, so Angry Birds Aliens.
I mean, it's like there was Angry Birds everywhere, and then they just kind of like, okay, Angry Birds had its time. We did the movie. No one liked it. Oh. But yeah, it's like a good Angry Birds clone. I'd play it with Aliens.
Yeah, me too.
And the last 2 places were also relatively closely matched with each other, but not closely matched to the top. At 16%, Alien Ascension. And coming in dead last at 14%, Alien Deflection. I
mean, there's, I guess, not really much if it's just Pong.
And we got a couple of comments. Jake the Movie Snake says, I think a Flappy Bird clone with a xenomorph would be rather fun, honestly. And Jolly Ronin says, can I instead choose to have Alien burst out of my chest? Because that sounds like a lot more fun interactive experience. Unfortunately, I don't think there's an app for that.
No, not even close. Anyway, go ahead.
Ooh, Grey Jelly dropped $5 Australian saying, I want a Jurassic Park Evolution style game where we get to make terrible decisions that inevitably lead to a massive population of escaped aliens.
Yeah, which is worse, aliens or dinosaurs? Pick your poison.
I don't know. It's like you wouldn't have a park, but you would be whaling Yutani, and you would be trying to do like the thing they were doing in Resurrection, where it's like, let's just throw the motherfuckers. We got the Queen Room over here. We're building these for our, bioweapons. Well, okay, that wasn't whaling Yutani. They were bought by Walmart. But you know what I mean. The company. You are the company. Whoever the company is, you are the company, and you are researching and growing aliens and researching bigger and better aliens, and then they're going to break out and try to kill you, and you got to get you guys in to calm them down and try to not have too much collateral damage. That sounds like a lot of fun. I would like that game as long as it's not trying to pretend like it's a sequel to Alien Isolation. I would like to play that game.
As long as they have the remix that you came up with. What's in fucking side me?
Oh, God.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, I guess let's talk about the video games in a bit of a more positive light, because I have another video game news I have another one that's actually pretty dumb. But there was one that I read that was actually pretty cool that I wanted to actually get into. So which one should we cover first? Should we have more stupid?
Why not?
Okay, let's have more stupid.
But I'm already stupid. Reading that little thing I brought up.
Don't worry, I'll let you have a break, Decker. It's my turn. Okay, so let's move over to Twitch, because of course we are. Okay, so we have Super Smash Bros. Melee player known as Mango, who was banned from Twitch because he apparently was passed out drunk during a live stream.
Well, you can't be AFK on Twitch. That's one of the rules.
Yes.
Well, technically he was at his keyboard. He was just not conscious.
Okay, Joseph Mango Marquez left many of his fans in hysterics as he appeared to pass out drunk during a Twitch stream and fell to the floor late on January 6th. He later received a ban from his Twitch overlord. Twitch overlords. That's beautiful. The professional Super Smash Bros. Melee player was seen celebrating after the Philadelphia Eagles sealed a last-gasp victory over the Chicago Bears in the NFL playoffs. The Eagles snatched the win in the final 56 seconds of Wild Card Weekend, with the game finishing at 16-15 in their favor. Mango was clearly ecstatic with the defending Super Bowl champion's performance, but it would appear he had one drink too many. After lifting his Blue Moon beer into the air, he dropped right next to the camera and out of shot. The streamer didn't get up for around 3 minutes after it seemed he initially collapsed and the stream went offline following his slump. He did emerge, though, but it was clearly still intoxicated. Mango decided to bring the stream to a close after 10 minutes later after coming back online. Just a matter of hours after he passed out, he received a ban from Twitch on his account. He posted an image on the ban on Twitter revealing that it was for 7 days due to dangerous consumption of drugs or alcohol. He accompanied the picture with his own thought of the subject. ROFL. Okay. The Smash Bros. Player would later go on Twitter to defend what happened and claim he was actually pretending to pass out in order to go and see his girlfriend.
Well, I mean, usually if you get so drunk you pass out on the floor, it's for a little longer than 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm. The two-time EVO champion has been seen drunk on his stream a number of times before, and the sight of him of this intoxicated after an Eagles win will hardly shock his regular viewers. Ironically, during a past drunk stream, he ended up calling out Twitch staff members about the current state of the streaming platform. Woo! Fuck the staff. This shit's going down since you fire everybody. Everybody knows Twitch has gone straight to shit. After he said on a November 29th while playing Portal 2, I've been waiting for a ban. I want to go. Despite trying to tempt Twitch into banning him for that occasion, Mango continued to stream and share some big moments with his fans, such as the Eagles' playoff victory. He was clearly delighted with the team's result. So, yeah. I mean, I don't think we've ever gotten to the point in which we just passed out. I mean, there was one time, like many years ago, Tim Deanna and his brother Patrick, they were doing a very special live, like monthly long podcast discussing about like what your favorite movie of what year was happening. Like, you know, what was your favorite movie of 1993, 1994, etc. And leading all the way up into, I believe that 2012 or 2013 was like the most current year at the time. I remember that we were still talking for hours long after the podcast was over. It was like around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I just remember like I was asleep. And then, you know, when I woke up the next morning, Tim said, "Hey, Patricia, what happened? You like, you know, you kind of like disappeared after like 2 in the morning." And then we heard loud breathing and I was like, oh.
Nicole7891 asks, by the way, Decker, how's your beard decrease going? And it has gone down, not quite as much as intended, but it has gone down. It doesn't help. It's like there was the holidays, and then there's like all the other things going on, and then things going well in my life right now. Like the review got out a week after the previous review, and it was done several days in advance. Well, okay, 2 days, but the point is that's still several. More than one, but not many is the definition of several. So. So I got that ready, and things this week, there's a lot of stuff that has gone up, but it's all kind of come together very well. And we do have Crown in the house, and I'm like, I feel like celebrating. And it's like, I'm still kind of tempted to go for it. And then I'm like, no, I'm not supposed to. And then my fiance's there like, you've earned it. And I'm like, you're an enabler.
You're supposed to be making my life miserable, not better.
Jesse Guayado is like, don't drink and stream. It's like, I try not to. I try to. Sometimes I do, but not. I mean, sometimes I have in the past, but not like a lot. Not like absolutely schnitzflaced. Well, okay. Yeah. Well, technically, last time I was in Houston. I had a bit to drink, but we weren't streaming. But before that, the previous time I was in Houston, I was Thick Black Daddy was streaming, and I was on his stream, and we were drinking. But it was like, hey, friends, haven't seen each other in forever. Drinking time. I'm not going anywhere tonight.
Then you have the time when Decker tried like 3 different hot sauces. So, well, I mean, like you could argue that that's not alcoholic, but it was ingesting a foreign substance that caused a certain reaction.
Caused bodily harm.
Mhm. All right. Well, I think we could take a break from the video game stuff for now. So let's go over to some movie news.
God damn it, Corey 2000. He's like, the summer of booze.
Yes. Hello, everybody. This is Decker Shado, and welcome to the Summer of Booze. We're going to be talking about this really nice pale ale. It was inspired by the movie Aliens. You can tell because the xenomorphs, when they spew out, it has this nice frothiness, very similar to this pale ale with the complex taste.
I'm going to age gracefully like Orson Welles selling champagne, drunk on his ass. The French champagne. It's always been celebrated for its excellence.
And then there'll be a movie called Citizen Decker.
All right. Well, Creepy, I want you to actually look at this article because, you talk a lot about X-Men in your channel. So let's talk about somebody who had an early screening of X-Men Dark Phoenix. You get to have the honor of reading it.
Hooray! X-Men Dark Phoenix said to be an embarrassment to all involved with it.
Well, that's not very nice.
Despite kickstarting the superhero movie boom back in 2000, although that's kind of a misnomer.
Yeah, it's kind of a debate. It's like some people say it was Blade. Some people say it was Spider-Man. It's a debate.
So there were. The thing it's probably not any one single thing. There are plenty of comic book movies. Over time, they've been getting better. And there have always been good ones, but there's also always been a lot of crap.
Fair enough.
Now, the good to crap ratio is leaning more towards good anymore, which is good, obviously.
Ignoring that, the X-Men franchise has struggled to keep a consistent quality. The cracks first started in 2006 with the release of X-Men The Last Stand. It's had the odd glimmer of hope in the forms of X-Men Days of Future Past, very good movie, and Logan. But overall, it's been more misses than hits. And I don't know, the last several X-Men movies were good. And unfortunately, it sounds as though the latest and possibly last X-Men film, X-Men Dark Phoenix, may end up yet being another miss. There's just something about that storyline that Hollywood can't do right, apparently. Anyway.
Jade Coyote K says that's harsh. Dark Phoenix is a hard story to adapt.
There's a fair argument there. The damning report comes courtesy of We Got This Covered, who explained somebody who had seen an early screening of Fox's latest came to them with some early reactions, like you do. The source revealed, I went and saw Dark Phoenix a few months ago. While I didn't like Apocalypse, I still had high hopes because I still loved First Class and Days of Future Past. Unfortunately, the film was a huge disappointment. Terrible script, bland visuals, and the weird choice to recreate scenes from The Last Stand. Fox's other attempt/failure to adapt the Dark Phoenix storyline. There is one kind of an interesting twist midway, but it didn't do much for me. It sounds as though one of its biggest weaknesses is actually Jessica Chastain.
I guess so.
And her Shi'ar cohorts. They go on to add, Jessica Chastain, usually an actress I adore, is just awful in this. Maybe one of the worst villains in a comic book movie I've seen in a while. The alien villains are bland in general, too. So in short, overdramatic, badly written, with great actors giving terrible performances. Just an embarrassment to all involved. I'm sad one of my favorite franchises is ending on such a low note. Can't wait to see what
Feige.
Okay. Thank you. Feige and company have in mind for the characters for the MCU, though. Thank God the Fox era is about to be over. Excuse me, sorry.
Okay.
Back and buttocks were in pain. The report is in line with others we have heard from early screening reactions, especially the stories that early screenings were so bad that the studio had to sink a lot more money into reshoots in order to make it somewhat.
Corey 2000 dropped a comment saying, "Is Fox trying to taint the well before giving the X-Men to Disney?"
That is a possibility. They've done crap like that before.
Yep.
Where was I? Oh, yeah. The early release. Okay. This will no doubt come as expected to many who have come to terms with the fact that we likely won't see a truly great X-Men film from Fox. However, with Disney's recent acquisition of the characters, along with all of Fox's other Marvel properties, I'm having tongue twister problems now. It hopefully won't be too long before we see it. We can bid farewell to the X-Men franchise when X-Men Dark Phoenix hits theaters on June 7th. I don't know. I mean, like, I tend to have a certain level of skepticism whenever I hear, early reviews come through like this before the movie has even hit theaters, where someone is saying that, oh, this movie is just absolutely positively the worst, because, as we all know, sometimes movie studios, when they are unsure about how a movie will perform, will actually release this kind of negative publicity on purpose, like pay reviewers to trash a film to try and generate hype about it, to get people interested in the movie, because people will go see a movie sometimes if they're curious enough about it. If, word gets out that something is just like the worst movie ever.
Yeah.
And if you're worried that it's just kind of average, I guess it would make sense. Get a little bit going saying it's terrible to get people wondering and then going to it. And then they see it, and if it's just kind of average, then they'll probably come out saying it's a lot better than people say.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. We've seen.
So far, we have two conspiracy theories about this.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen studios pull this kind of crap before. So maybe maybe it's a twofold thing. Maybe they're trying to sabotage it. Maybe there is a conspiracy to sabotage it, but at the same time, the studio can afford to lose money on it. So even though they don't want the movie to do super well, they don't want to go broke from it either. So they're doing it both ways. And plus, you have to think about the fact that there are a lot of people behind the scenes when it comes to movies. It's not just like one person who does everything. So, there could be multiple conspiracies. There could be more than one person, more than one agenda here.
All right, let's go to some more news, and let's go over to a little bit of horror. And we can go over to this bit of news with Kane Hodder, who is going to be doing a new horror film called Knife Corp.
The legend, Kane Hodder.
Yes. Why don't you read this one, Decker?
Every major horror fan loves Kane Hodder. After portraying Jason Voorhees in 4 separate films in the Friday the 13th franchise, Hodder forever became a genre fan favorite. In addition to his time as Jason, Hodder has killed it in many other horror films as well. Sometimes playing a victim, but usually portraying an antagonist. Yeah, Friday the 13th 9 comes to mind, where he gets killed by Jason, but he also plays Jason. It's weird.
There's like Jasonception going on there.
The horror star will soon be adding another horror movie to his resume, as Hodder is reported to be hard at work shooting for a part in the upcoming movie Knife Corp. According to Bloody Disgusting, Knife Corp tells a story where high school senior Wally Banks is selling knives door to door and gets trapped in a man's house with a dark secret and must escape before it's too late. Of course, Hodder is the man with the dark secret in question, playing a character named Angus Finn. Joining Hodder in the cast is his fellow horror star, Felissa Rose, who's known for playing Angela in the original Sleepaway Camp. Ooh.
Oh, dear.
This is just one of many movies we can expect to see Hodder show up in the near future. A quick peek at his IMDb page reveals a long list of 2019 projects with his name attached. He might be many years removed from last portraying Jason Voorhees. No, he's not. His last portrayal of Jason Voorhees was in the Friday the 13th video game. But Hodder has proven to be a mainstay in the genre, well past his role that made him famous. The iconic actor's presence is always a welcome sight to see, so we'll definitely be keeping an eye out for Knife Corp's official release. There's no trailer release or release date yet for Knife Corp, but a first look image reveals Hodder's character in the movie. Either that or they just kind of walked up to his house and he's like, "What the hell are you doing here? Snap, run!" Poster art for Knife Corp has also been released, and you can take a look at both of those below.
Okay, so
Photo actually does look like he's standing at his door about to yell, "Get off my lawn, damn kids." Although, if the man who played Jason Voorhees were to yell, "Get off my lawn, damn kids," I think the kid should probably do as he says.
Yeah.
10,000 doors in the city. They had to knock on his. Kane Hodder, knife core.
Dun dun dun.
The title is kind of confusing, though. So this is like a... Is this like a squadron of knives or a squad of people who wield knives?
I guess it's core for like corporation, like
Yeah,
you
or
know.
like-
Wouldn't it be just like Knife Inc.?
Yeah, like the company that makes knives. Then
Knives Incorporated.
yeah,
Mhm.
I'm just
We sell knives and nothing else.
Spatula City, where and that's all.
Fujisaur's like, stop fucking in my camp, you rotten teens.
How dare you have sex in my hydrangeas?
All right. Well. So yeah, I expect that coming soon, whenever that is. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to pull out the next bit of news, which actually is featured in the title card. So, with one of the first one being obviously Alien Blackout, now we have Tony Hawk, and there's a reason why. Tony Hawk recently revealed on his Twitter that there would have been a sequel to Space Jam called Skate Jam. Instead of basketball and Michael Jordan, it would have had Tony Hawk, and the Looney Tunes characters would have been skateboarding.
But why Skate Jam? I mean, Jam is like you got, it's like a basketball thing, like the NBA Jam. I'm just saying Space Jam, NBA Jam. It makes sense to me. So I'm thinking like space was the important part of Space Jam. Wouldn't it be like Space Grind? I don't know.
I don't know.
Were you taking this one? I'm sorry.
No, you can go ahead, take it.
You sure?
Yeah,
Right.
go ahead.
Okay. As we sit here in the year of our Lord Marvin the Martian, 2019, I'm just going to let that statement settle in everyone's... I'm just going to let it settle in everyone's head. Everyone here and those of you listening at home.
Beautiful.
Yeah. We still don't have a sequel to Space Jam. Some people thinking this is a good thing. Others do not.
A lot of people in the comments seem to think not having a sequel to Space Jam is a very, very good thing.
Those people are kind of nuts, but it's okay. We still love you. There is supposedly a Space Jam 2 in the works with LeBron James replacing Michael Jordan in the role of the remarkable human basketball player surrounded by the Looney Tunes, and a story about space aliens and cartoons playing hoops. Again, we all know the plot of the movie, but whenever it's spelled out like that, you just kind of have to pause. But apparently, we almost got a Space Jam sequel nearly 2 decades ago. Skateboarding legend Tony Hawk tweeted this today when he shared a bit of unknown backstory. Apparently, there was nearly a Space Jam sequel involving skateboarding called Skate Jam. It was killed by the unofficial follow-up to Space Jam Looney Tunes Back in Action, which wasn't nearly as successful as Space Jam in 2003.
Yes, and this is the picture that he shared.
Oh, man.
Why is he drawn? They didn't... what?
I don't know. This is actually interesting. So Michael Jordan appeared as like a human in, when he went over to the Looney Tunes world. So did Brendan Fraser and the other character when they went over to the Looney Tunes world. So you're trying to tell me that Tony Hawk would have been completely animated when he entered into the Looney Tunes world?
I guess. I do remember Looney Tunes Back in Action, by the way. And the one scene in the entire movie that got me to laugh the hardest was when they were stranded out in the desert and they thought they were going to die of exposure and dehydration. And then they spot the Walmart and they're all like, "We're saved!" And then they do a jump cut to them walking back out of the Walmart. And Bugs Bunny says, "Boy, it sure was nice of Walmart to give us all those free Walmart drinks for saying Walmart so many times."
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Let's. Yeah. So yes. Just okay. So let's continue.
Okay. Damn you, Brandon Fraser. What did you do? What did you do? Tony Hawk, the undisputed grand poobah of skating video games, has a new one out called Skate Jam. So kudos to him for drumming up tangible publicity and getting people to Google search Skate Jam with this timely piece of movie lore. Now he can enjoy a lifetime of people asking him, dude, why didn't you make Skate Jam? That would have been sick, man. Maybe Hawk can make a cameo in the upcoming Space Jam 2, where he uses his skateboard to dunk on the Monstars and then says, time for a skate jam, and smiles at the camera while fireworks go off in the background.
Sure.
I am a man of confusion.
Oh, man.
Okay, so let's think about this. So 2003, this is when Tony Hawk was like the height of his career, being like the most popular guy in terms of the X Games, invented the Super McVarial 900, huge reputation of not only being a great athlete, but also his Tony Hawk Pro Skater series were like top of the line when it came to like, games based off of skateboarding. And, yeah.
Like,
so now flash forward to 2019, where pretty much nobody knows about, Tony Hawk outside of maybe, people who grew up with them during the 90s. And now here comes this beauty. And it would have been like, if this would have came out, it would have been like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. Like, would have been like even more dated than the original Space Jam because, I mean, skateboarding is. I mean, I know that skateboarding is like still popular around California, but I mean, as like in a nationwide kind of popularity, I don't think we'll ever see something like this again, unless, of course, it does come back with like some fresh new skateboarder who's has like the Tony Hawk charisma, but. Yeah, in the meantime, something like Rocket Power is considered to be like incredibly laughable and how cheesy and how over the top it is.
Right. Well, the thing about it is that, well, like in the 50s and 60s, you had surfer movies, and suddenly all the teens and people, all the teenagers and college people in their 20s who wanted to move out to California and become surfers. Yeah. And in the late 90s to the 2000s, in the first half of the 2000s, that was basically that, but it was skateboarding. You wanted to move out to California and become a professional skateboarder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you little bastards.
It's kind of funny because I think
not you. It's just this.
Oh no! I know.
The stream is limited to no ads. I'm like, come on, it's.
I know. But actually, I was just about to think of something. My friend Casey, who does a podcast.
One joke about the titles of the R.L. Stein books, and just getting yellow dollar sign. Jeez.
Well, I'm sure that they'll come up with another catchphrase for you to say. Instead of "complain till you die," it's going to be "in space, no one can hear you bitching." Anyway, so I was about to say, my friend Casey, he does a podcast with his friend Ashley called the Friday Night Nicktoons podcast, where they actually did talk about the first episode of Rocket Power. And they were saying, like, looking back on it now with everybody making fun of, there was a kid named Sam who moved from Kansas to California. And he's like this nerdy kid who's always in his computer, and he doesn't do skateboarding or surfing very well. And everybody kind of like makes fun of him for it. And my friend Casey said, I'm sure that back in the 90s, with everybody who wanted to skateboard and look cool, and Sam is kind of like this geek who's on his computer all the time. And it's like, looking back on it now, it's like Sam is probably the most relatable character in the entire show, because everybody else is acting like a bunch of crazy over the top 90s kids who just try to act cool with their skateboards, and now we're essentially people on our computers all the time, and nobody else just goes out skateboarding.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, Lazarus Soul 82 says that Tony Hawk was in the movie Grind, which had Kane Hodder.
Oh, there's a connection.
That makes the segue even better.
Yeah, I wish that I would have read the Kane Hodder after reading this, so oh well. But yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So yeah, we would have almost had a sequel to Space Jam, but instead of basketball, it would have been skateboarding, and instead of Michael Jordan, it would have been Tony Hawk. All right, let's go over to our next bit of news, which let me see if I can find something. Oh, yeah, I got something, which everybody has been telling in the chat. Please cover this. Please cover this. Why aren't you talking about this already? So, okay, I think now it's about time to cover it because it's what everybody's been talking about this past week. Yeah, we're getting a new Ghostbusters movie. And Jason Reitman, who is the son of Ivan Reitman, who directed the first Ghostbusters movie, will be involved in it. It will take place in the same universe as Ghostbusters 1 and 2. It will not take place in the 2016 reboot. That's his own universe. So, yeah, who wants to read this one?
So would this be Ghostbusters 3 or 4? Because I thought the game was Ghostbusters 3.
Yeah, Ghostbusters 3.5.
Patricia, why don't you?
Well, I read the Tony Hawk one, so let's have Dicker read this one.
Okay. Decker. That's
or Creepy, whoever's turn it is. I don't know.
I'll go.
You go.
Do you believe in UFOs, astral projections, mental telepathy, ESP, clairvoyance, spirit photography, telekinetic movement, full trance mediums, the Loch Ness Monster, and the theory of Atlantis? If so, good news. There's a new Ghostbusters movie in the works. Entertainment Weekly, in italics, stop calling us ew, you bastard, has learned exclusively that James Reitman will direct and co-write the upcoming film set in the world that was saved decades previously by the proton pack-wearing working stiffs of the original 1984 movie, which was directed by his father, Ivan Reitman. I've always thought of myself as the first Ghostbusters fan. When I was a 6-year-old visiting the set, I wanted to make a movie for all the other fans, Reitman says. This is the new chapter in the original, next chapter in the original franchise. It's not a reboot. What happened in the 80s happened in the 80s, and this is set in the present day. Sony Pictures has dated the film for summer 2020 with plans to start shooting in a few months. It's still too soon to reveal the plot of the screenplay, who the new characters will be, or whether the original actors like Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, or Bill Murray will return. Harold Ramis died in 2014. Let's reopen that wound.
Yeah.
This is very early, and I want the film to unwrap like a present. We have a lot of wonderful surprises and new characters for the audience to meet, says Reitman, who co-wrote the screenplay with Monster House and Poltergeist remake filmmaker Gil Kenan. The all-female Ghostbusters movie that director Paul Feig made in 2016 with Kate McKinnon, Leslie Jones, Kristen Wiig, and Melissa McCarthy started its story from scratch, unconnected to the earlier films, so it won't have ties to this new one. I have so much respect for what Paul created with the brilliant actresses and would love to see more stories from them. However, this new movie will follow the trajectory of the original film, Reitman says. Reitman and Oscar nominee for Up in the Air and Juno released 2 films last year, the Charlize Theron motherhood story Tully, and the Hugh Jackman political drama The Frontrunner. He grew up idolizing his dad's big-budget comedies like Stripes, Twins, Dave, and says he was just as obsessed with Ghostbusters as any other 80s kid. I love everything about it, the iconography, the music, the tone, Reitman says. I remember being on set and seeing them try out the card catalog gag for the first time when the library ghost makes them come flying out. I remember the day they killed Stay Puft, and I brought home a hardened piece of foam that just sat on a shelf for years. I was scared there was a terror dog underneath my bed before people knew what a terror dog was. Jason, his mother, and sister played panicked residents fleeing the Spook Central haunted skyscraper in the first film, but they were ultimately cut. Here's a shot of 6-year-old Jason posing with his father in a fractured Manhattan street they constructed. Aw, he's so cute. A few years later, the boy did get a laugh line in the 1989 sequel, playing a birthday boy who was unimpressed by the Ghostbusters. My dad says you guys are full of crap.
What did they ask for the birthday party? Did they ask for He-Man?
Yeah, they did.
Okay, Lazarus Soul 82 dropped $9.99 saying, all of us that crapped on the 2016 film owe them an apology, because without it, we couldn't get this one. Hello, everybody!
Hi.
Okay, when he began making his own movies, starting with the 2005's Thank You for Smoking, Reitman was often asked in interviews if he'd ever want to make his own Ghostbusters movie. I think I said that there'd be no busting, he recalls with a laugh. The truth is, he often wondered about making one too. I've thought about this franchise, and it has occupied a piece of my heart for basically as long as I can remember. His father will produce the movie. It will be a passing of the torch both inside and out, says Ivan, adding that he's touched his son wanted to be part of the family business. It was a decision that he had to come to himself. He worked really hard to be independent and developed a wonderful career on his own. So I was quite surprised when he came to me with Gil and said, I know I've been saying for 10 years I'm the last person who should make a Ghostbusters movie, but I have this idea. Literally, I was crying, but by the end of it, it was so emotional and funny. Sony is also developing an animated Ghostbusters film, but it will come out after this new live-action project, and a different team will be involved in creating it. The Ghostbusters universe is big enough to hold a lot of different stories, Jason says.
Yeah, which we actually did discuss about the animated Ghostbusters film last year. No new information has come out of it since then, though. So yeah, I guess a lot of people.
Scott Duncan says this is actually a sequel to the NES Ghostbusters game.
Oh, Ghostbusters!
So there's going to be 3 Ghostbusters, and they're all white.
Mm-hmm. and it's and at the credits is going to say congratulations. You have played a really good game.
You have watched a really great movie.
You've proved the justice of our culture. Go and rest our heroes. Okay.
Lazarus Soul 82 dropped $9.99 and said, "All of us that craft."
Yeah, we read that one.
Yeah, we read that one.
How'd I miss that? Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, I have yet to see the 2016 Ghostbusters Answer the Call, but knowing that I did do a Ghostbusters podcast a few years ago, and now there's going to be not only this one coming up and the animated Ghostbusters movie, I'll probably have to get back to that. Probably have to cover all 3 of them. So,
Jake K is saying they need to bring back Ecto Cooler. I think they did once.
Yeah, they did.
And there is a Ghostbusters fan group who developed their own Ecto Cooler, and people say that it does taste exactly like Ecto Cooler. So if you get the recipe from them, that would be a good thing. Yeah.
They actually, when Ghostbusters Answer the Call came out in theaters, that's when they brought back Ecto Cooler. And if they do, I wouldn't be surprised if next year, since the movie's going to come out in 2020, they probably will bring back Ecto Cooler. I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case. Okay. Creepy, I think this, it's your turn, and I'm sorry that you have to read this one. Don't worry, it's not Chucky, but it's something that's equally as disappointed, especially since this came out about this week. So, here you go.
Well, it's good luck having Creepy read it.
Yeah, I know. Here you go, Creepy.
Look at the room.
Oh,
look at the participants.
Oh, he's gone. He's like, nope, I'm not covering this. I just brought up the screen. It's like, hey, Creepy, can you read up this, that there's going to be a live action remake of Hunchback of Notre Dame? And he's like, nope, I'm going away. You cover it.
I'm back. No,
okay.
Probably that may have been why I didn't hear you read the super chat earlier. There was like a brief glitch for a minute there, but I came back, so I didn't even bother saying anything about it. But this one was like way longer. Sorry about that. Again, problems. Anyway, so who gets stuck reading?
You do. It's your turn.
I had problems with the animated movie. Now I got to read about the live action.
Sorry, Creepy.
Disney's latest live-action remake is The Hunchback of Notre Dame. It will join the impressive lineup of remakes.
Impressive.
Impressive.
That's relative.
Everybody hates.
Jesse Shado is like, another Disney remake. Epic Jason X9000, another live-action remake. Again, God damn it, Disney!
Pretty much. Disney's adding one more movie to its lineup of the live-action remakes. 1996's The Hunchback of Notre Dame, now entitled Hunchback.
Okay. I mean, it could be any Hunchback, but sure. Just
we're going to do another remake later, CGI remake. Call it Back Problems.
Yes. Continue.
Anyway. The musical will pull from both the animated film and the original Victor Hugo novel. So
does that mean that Quasimodo is going to die?
Yeah. I'm like, okay, hearing that one statement, I'm like, okay, now this movie is bordering on being interesting. But not the stage play created by returning songwriters Alan Menken and Steven Schwartz.
That sucks because I did hear some really good things about the stage play. That they tweaked it up a little bit. They got rid of the gargoyles, and I think they did some scenes that were close to the novel. But okay, so let me get it. So if there probably would be a possibility that maybe that.
In the chat, Lazarus Soul 82 is like, imagine the balls you have to walk into a boardroom with a DVD of a Disney animated film and be like, "This, I'm making this."
Okay, I lost my train of thought. Continue.
Both Menken and Schwartz worked on the music for the animated Disney film. Joining Menken and Schwartz will be Tony Award-winning playwright David Henry Hwang, who is set to pen the script. Hwang previously worked on Aida, and Elton John and Tim Rice collaboration produced by Walt Disney Theatrical Productions. Hunchback will be produced by Mandeville Films along with Josh Gad of Frozen's Olaf. Oh, okay. According to Deadline, Mandeville founder David Huberman had tried to bring The Hunchback of Notre Dame to Hollywood for over 30 years, starting when he was Disney film president. This led to the animated film and a limited series on ABC.
It did? I didn't hear anything about a limited series on ABC.
I'm as shocked as you are. While no news has been officially announced, it's rumored that co-producer Gad will play the titular Hunchback.
Okay.
Just in 2019, Disney plans to release live-action renditions of Dumbo.
Aladdin. Which was horrifying.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Dumbo poster?
I have seen the Dumbo poster.
It's like a cry for help.
Thank you, Tim Burton, for taking a cuddly elephant and making it terrifying.
Hey, kids, meet your new nightmare. Dumbo, Aladdin, and The Lion King. Also on the slate are a Cruella de Vil origin story and remakes of Lady and the...
Origin story? This is like, polyester, it's so itchy. Oh, fur. I like fur.
That's the thing about it is that Cruella de Vil was not that deep. I mean, that's the thing. She was vain and shallow. She was a fashionista. But the thing that made her interesting was the force of her personality. She was this high camp, high strung, shrieking bitch goddess who basically just stomped through and demanded getting her own way all the time. But there wasn't a whole lot of depth to her. She came from old money and was basically this idle, rich, spoiled princess.
Yeah, pretty much. And we already had Glenn Close as Cruella. Wasn't that enough?
Actually, Glenn Close playing the character of Cruella.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about she was fine. We don't need another one.
Character, but the movie itself was shit. Yes. Although I will say, I did who was it? Was it B.B. King who did that sort of blues remix version of the Cruella de Vil song?
I think so.
Yeah, I actually thought that his version of it was pretty good. Actually,
Lizard Reviews is asking for a live action Aristocrats. I'm pretty sure he meant Aristocats.
Aristocats.
He just commented. I mean Aristocats.
But yeah, Cruella de Vil was not deep, or so why give her an origin story? I mean, other than just a pathetic cash grab. Lady and the Tramp. I'm kind of surprised anyone but me remembers that movie. Mulan. I actually liked the live action Mulan movie. I know it got some mixed reactions, but I liked it. Lilo and Stitch. I can already hear.
Oh yeah, Jade Coyote K. We got that on the docket as well.
Yeah. Lilo and Stitch, I can hear Yama chewing on his liver right now because he adores Lilo and Stitch, the movie, and I can just hear him screaming, "It's perfect! Why are you doing this?"
My God. All right.
You should have been there.
Jade Coyote K is like, oh yeah, then they're remaking The Witches, and Anne Hathaway is going to be head witch.
We are going to be covering that momentarily. You're welcome.
Night Owl of Horde says, an origin of Cruella de Vil is like trying to find depth in a half centimeter of water. Actually, I would like to see I don't want it live action, but I would like to see a new Darkwing Duck series. I really would. I was actually kind of pissed at the new DuckTales series when they said that Darkwing Duck was just a TV show. When it was in that universe, it was just a live action TV show, and I was like, damn it, I wanted a new Darkwing Duck series.
Yeah. Speaking of Darkwing Duck, there is actually a bit of news regarding about that. So let me just pull it up.
Yes, let's go to that. Let's segue to that instead.
Yeah, let's segue into that. The whole Anne Hathaway thing, we'll get to that later.
I apologize again for the shaky cam.
I'm going to be checking out the head witch's ass the whole time. I'm like, why? Why you do this to me?
My butt keeps falling asleep, okay?
I'm not checking that, okay?
Okay, so Sonic Mania developers released an unused Darkwing Duck game pitch. So while they were working on Sonic Mania, the developers were actually working on a game pitch, which I think from the looks of it, looks like a new take on the Darkwing Duck NES game. So... So for those of us who grew up with the NES, fondly remember Capcom's licensed Disney games like DuckTales, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, and Darkwing Duck based off Disney Afternoon and Saturday Morning Classics. While Capcom released a Disney Afternoon collection in 2017, there has been no indication they want to jump back into that pool. Today, Sonic Mania developers Headcanon released a video of a pitch they made for an alternative world in which Capcom did want to make new Disney games. The pitch was for a new Darkwing Duck game, a follow-up to the NES title done in a retro SNES or GBA style. You can check out the video below. The pitch wasn't accepted by Capcom, obviously, which is why it has been released to the internet. The game was originally going to include former Darkwing Duck writers and take place at a specific point in the series. According to Aaron Sparrow on Twitter, he said, last year, Silvani Art and I were involved in brainstorming a Darkwing Duck video game with HC Stuff. It would have had animated art by James and VO by many of the original voice cast as possible. Sadly, Capcom passed on it, and as you can see it a bit here, there's the YouTube video. Sadly, we cannot play it. It was conceived as a spiritual successor to the original NES game, unless Capcom wanted to go full DuckTales remastered with it. It was planned to take place between the show and the Duck Knight Returns, with Steelbeak, Taurus, Bulba, and the Fearsome Five as the villains. Not only is it available in video form, but you can actually play it on PC here. Note that it is an unfinished fan game and not the final product, so be aware of that. According to Capcom's financial reports, the last major foray into Disney gaming, DuckTales Remastered, sold about 1.2 million copies. Maybe that wasn't enough to move to new game development, or perhaps they chose between projects and went with the Disney Afternoon collection instead. In any event, it looks like the headcanon Darkwing Duck is not to be.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Sonic Mania was really damn good.
Mm-hmm. I think it would have been great. I would have loved to have seen that.
So I like those developers. I feel like they would have been able to handle it respectably, keep it feeling crisp and smooth. Like that's a weird thing. Why is it that the big studios seem to have such a difficult time making a retro style game because they just keep fucking up the controls?
I don't know. But yeah, what are your thoughts on it, Creepy?
Like I said, I would have loved to see. I loved the original Darkwing Duck TV show, and I love DuckTales, and I would love for there to be new material on it. I have read not all. I actually have one right here. I have one of the Boom Comics trades for the Darkwing Duck comic book that was released a few years ago. This is the Campaign Carnage storyline, and they're actually really good, and they stick to the spirit of the show. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, like, make a new series, make a movie, make more of these comics, do something.
Yeah. We have, let me see. They're asking if you would ever review Darkwing Duck, kind of like a monthly series like you do with your, DuckTales retrospect.
I plan to do that as soon as I finish DuckTales.
Okay, cool.
That's what I want to do. That's the goal, basically. I'm going to finish DuckTales.
Brandon Kilgore's asking if any of us played the arcade The Never Ending Story series. There was an arcade game of The Never Ending Story. Or what's he talking about? What?
No, I haven't.
What's going? Is that a thing?
That's news to me.
Yeah, it's news to me.
Am I just reading that wrong?
No, I guess not. I guess that is a real thing. So
Yeah.
I'll have to look into it. All right, let's go over to our next bit of news. More reboots, because everybody loves reboots, don't they? Exactly. So let's see what reboot we're going to be talking about this time. It is Final Destination.
Why?
Okay.
What? Why? This is a movie where going into it, you already knew how it was going to end.
I think Decker needs to read this one.
Spoiler alert, they all die.
Yeah.
What is to gain from what?
Who wants to read this?
Why?
Decker has to do this.
Okay, Decker, you read it.
Why? Scary movie mavens Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan will pen the script. New Line is gearing up for another trip with death. And death isn't done packing. Damn it. The company is restarting its Final Destination horror franchise, hiring scary movie mavens Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan to pen the script. Final Destination proved to be a cornerstone for New Line's horror businesses in the early 2000s. The first movie, released in 2000, set up the concept. A character has a premonition of a horrific and deadly event, cheats into her own death, and saves several other lives in the process, only to have death as a personified but unstoppable force come for the survivors one by one. The first movie was directed by James Wong and starred Devon Sawa and Ali Larter, making $112 million worldwide on only a $23 million budget. Well, only $23 million. Drop in the bucket. 4 more installments followed through 2011, with the franchise balancing shock, blood, and giggles while being a consistent moneymaker for New Line, grossing almost $700 million, even as the deaths became more and more elaborate. Plot details for the 6th installment, which is being billed as a reimagining of the franchise, were not revealed. New Line is one of the few major companies working with horror, which is consistent with its long history, dating back to the Nightmare on Elm Street years in the 1980s. Now it's serving up chills via the Conjuring universe, with a new Annabelle project being released July 3rd, and will open the second part of its Stephen King adaptation, It Chapter 2, September 6th. Melton and Dunstan are horror vets best known for penning 4 of the Saw movies. They were winners in Season 3 of Project Greenlight and also wrote Piranha 3DD. They penned the upcoming Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark for CBS Films and are working with horror producers Platinum Dunes on an untitled Christmas horror project set up at Sony and on The Reckoning at Paramount. The duo is repped by Verve, Underground, and Bloom Hergot. I don't even know what that sentence means.
I guess they're representatives, this company is representing them as our agents or something. So, yeah, they're rebooting Final Destination.
Yeah, why can't you just make another? Why reboot? What does it matter if it comes at the end of this series of events? It's the start of these series of events. I don't. Why?
Okay, I really don't know. It's a shock. I mean, to be quite honest, I'm surprised that they decided to bring this back because it's the last one came out in 2011. That was like almost 8 years ago. So now they just decided, hey, let's bring it back. So
I mean, I don't mind the idea of, hey, let's continue the series, but it's like, why does everything have to be a reboot? Why reboot Final Destination? Thanks.
I could bring up another reboot if you want me to.
We're gonna have to. It's on the docket. I've seen it. They've been talking about it. Bring on the witches.
Let's talk about the witches, shall we? Yeah, let's bring that up. So yeah, we did talk about over the past couple of months at Live and Wire that there is going to be another. There's going to be a reboot based off of The Witches, Roald Dahl's, very well-known book that was adapted into a 1990 film, and now they're remaking it. Instead, they're going to be having a completely different. It's going to be set in the South with a mostly African-American cast, and Anne Hathaway is going to be the main witch. Because of course. All right, whose turn? Yeah, creepy, it's your turn.
Everything.
Oh, very well.
Wait, no, that's another channel. Excuse me.
Anne Hathaway has closed the deal to star as the Grand High Witch in Robert
Zemeckis.
Okay.
Let's call him Robbie Z. That's what I do.
Robbie Z.
Warner Brothers' The Witches adaptation. Variety first reported that Hathaway was holding the offer for both that and Sesame Street. What?
Oh yeah, that's right. They are making a Sesame Street movie. I forgot.
What?
Yeah, it's true. They are making a Sesame Street movie.
What?
You know, you keep saying what is not going to make things any clearer, creepy.
I know, but it makes my headache feel better.
See, I've been saying why. Creepy's been saying, well, we got to get the article up where Patricia's just there like, how?
That's true. That is true. I will be saying that when we get to the YouTube news. Don't worry.
True.
Oh, especially the Tumblr news. My God, help me.
Scheduling for both films were holding up deal making. With those issues settled, Hathaway is now set to star in the role originally portrayed by Angelica Houston in the 1990 classic. Based on the 1973 novel, the film follows a 7-year-old boy who has a run-in with real-life witches. Warner Brothers has previously adapted the book in 1990, with Houston playing one of the title characters, but sources close to the project say Z's version will be more rooted in the original source material, while the Houston pick was a loose adaptation. Z will also pen the script as well as produce with his partner Jack Rapke throughout their banner Image Movers, along with Alfonso Cuarón and Guillermo del Toro.
Silence.
I think he's just speechless.
This is just like hearing like tragic news. It's just like sitting here just listening, trying to be respectful.
Hathaway is currently filming the untitled DuPont film at Participant. Hathaway and WB are coming off their summer hit Ocean's 8, a spinoff of the Ocean's 11 movies. She can next be seen in the thriller Serenity and the comedy The Hustle, and recently wrapped production on the Netflix drama The Last Thing He Wanted. She is repped by CAA and Management 360.
She's repped. Yeah.
So,
yeah, there you go.
Oh boy.
I could do more reboots if you want.
Epic
but I
Jason
think
X9000 is like, hey, there's some news articles he can share that are more positive and happy. We don't have to just torture ourselves on this show.
that's true. We don't. Why don't we get into some good news, shall we? Let's go back into video games.
Also, Gypsy Boy Zadix TV says I'm a bit old-fashioned.
Oh, in what sense?
I just assume he means that I'm just like my back's going out.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay. Well, let's get into some good news. So this was actually teased about about a week ago from Bruce Campbell. So we were all a little disappointed that
Night Owl of Horde says, "Don't you wish you could delete an article and take the idea out of people's heads?"
Yeah.
Usually I'm like, just let things go, but I think the first time that really came up was the first news we got of the Sonic movie.
Yeah, and we don't want to talk about that anymore, unless there's some more.
There's going to be new. I mean, there's just the poster. There's still a lot to be revealed about that movie, and we're going to be talking about it.
Fair enough.
Live and wired, we hear everyone talking about Sonic the fucking Hedgehog.
We have a $5 comment from Nicholas Walker who says, "Have you guys heard about John Lasseter being hired at Skydance Animation and people's reaction to that news?"
No, that sounds like positive news.
No,
it's not. It's not okay. It's
well,
not. I don't know.
I mean, a lot of people have been really upset about John Lasseter being brought back into any sort of department in animation because of all of the allegations that he did.
Oh, that kind of news.
Yeah, that kind of news. The fact that he was let go from Disney because of those allegations of what he did to female animators and employees, and the fact that he was able to find work again no soon after, and everybody is really angry about it.
Decker, have you got an Xbox? No, I do not. That's actually one that I don't have. Well, I got an Xbox 360, but that's not what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but yeah, yay, yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah,
Okay, we're on the 2.5 hour mark about.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
that's true. But yeah, we'll cover a few more news articles. I did promise good news, so Decker can read this one. So we have a tease from Bruce Campbell regarding about a possible new Evil Dead video game.
I'd like to play a game where I got a motherfucking chainsaw hand and a goddamn shotgun.
Yeah, so that's good news.
Playing as fucking Ash. Well, yes, please. It's been quite some time since a fresh Evil Dead video game dropped, as the horror IP's most recent titles, Evil Dead, the game for iOS, and Army of Darkness Defense for iOS and Android. Why? Both came out in 2011, with there still being a significant void of a new core gaming incarnation of the property. Thankfully, though, fans of the cult horror phenomenon may not have to wait much longer for an announcement regarding a new video game version of The Evil Dead, as the actor behind the series' protagonist, Ash Williams, recently teased a title on the way. According to Bruce Campbell, The Evil Dead TV's Burn Notice, there's definitely a chance the new Evil Dead game is in the works, with the actor responding to a fan query asking if the IP could have a new gaming installment soon. Campbell didn't go into specifics as to what the project might entail, but he did say that, yes, players could be given the ability to play as Ash yet again at some point in the future.
But then again, it could be maybe that Ash will appear in a video game, maybe as like a playable character in something like, I don't know, maybe Mortal Kombat 11. Because
well, here the question is just any chance for a new Evil Dead game. So it could just be an Evil Dead game that doesn't have Ash, but that'd be a terrible idea. But then again, we've seen terrible ideas in games all night.
Alien Blackout. I know, but yeah,
I want to play. What the hell was the one that won the ball? Alien Confectionery.
There you go, Alien Confectionery. Okay, but yeah, you are right. So there could be a possibility that, you know, there is an Evil Dead game with Ash in it. So yeah, you're right. So,
for those unaware, Campbell revealed several months ago, after the cancellation of the Starz series Ash vs. Evil Dead, he would be reprising the role of Ash for a new game, but he didn't offer any exact details, rather than to say it's going to be an immersive experience. VR? Oh, this suggests that the project in question could wind up being a VR game of some kind. But it's worth noting that plenty of conventional video game releases, from The Witcher 3 to Fallout New Vegas, have been marketed as having immersive gameplay too. Those fucking open world ass games. That's not immersive. That's not immersive at all. You know what's immersive? Fucking Candy Crush. Thank you. At any rate, while it's still far too early to tell exactly what the new Evil Dead game will be like, Campbell's tease should have horror aficionados excited about what's coming down the pipeline for the cult franchise. The brand's had its fair share of decent to solid game releases in the past, with titles like Evil Dead: A Fistful of Boomstick and Evil Dead Regeneration, so one can only hope that not only will the next gaming iteration of the property become the best game of the series yet, but also one of the best horror games of its generation once it does officially release.
Sounds cool.
I see Creepy sitting next to Creepy. I'm creeped out.
Creepyception.
I didn't know.
Yeah, what he said. Yeah, so that could be cool to have a new Evil Dead video game. I think that, you know, a lot of people want it, and, you know, a lot of people were really disappointed that, you know, Ash versus the Evil Dead was canceled. So I guess this will be another opportunity for Bruce Campbell to play as Ash again, because he did mention in, you know, the interview that we talked about last year that if Ash versus the Evil Dead was canceled, that would be the last time he will play Ash on TV or in a film. So I guess this will be another opportunity for him to play as the character again.
Nick. Yeah.
Oh, Decker, stop being so old.
Dang it.
All right, let's continue, shall we? So, Let's see. Just get out of this. Yeah, that's nice video game news, but let's see if I can think of anything else to read over. Oh. Yes, we probably need to announce some video game movies that are going to be coming out. There's 2 of them, and they are just as ridiculous as the last one. So we already know about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. We already know about the Super Mario Brothers movie, and the new Monster Hunter movie. So how about a movie based off of a dancing game? And I'm not talking about the DDR movie, which that is coming out as well. We did discuss about that in Live and Wired. I am talking about a movie based off of Just Dance.
So everyone is a high contrast. Oh yeah, I guess so. I'm looking at the poster right there. Yeah, they definitely are. Okay, never mind. Answer. Questions answered.
Yep. Yeah, okay. Creepy, it's your turn. I guess Creepy was like, nope, I'm not reading this.
Oh god. You just noped out of here again.
That's okay. I'll read it. The Sony Pictures label has nabbed the film rights to Ubisoft's video game staple with around 120 million followers worldwide.
Why?
Yeah, I know. I guess they thought, hey, Konami's doing the DDR movie. We're going to do a Just Dance movie to compete with it. So, yeah. A Just Dance movie is in the works after Sony Pictures Scream Gems labeled nabbed the motion pictures rights for a film based off of Ubisoft's video game phenomenon. Okay, so we went from video game staple to video game phenomenon.
They just release it on every damn. I think they're still releasing it on PlayStation 2.
Yep, they're still releasing those games.
There's not exactly much to the game. They just kind of.
It's just dancing.
Yeah.
Okay. Just Dance is a marquee dance game on Sony's PlayStation platform that features a host of Sony music artists. First released in...
It's on a lot of damn platforms.
Yes. It's on the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PSP, your refrigerator, your dishwasher, and soon to be released your phone, because everybody should have phones by now.
There's a Just Dance game on Switch. It's everywhere.
Yep. First released in okay, I already read that part. Music artist
Spudley says it's still coming out on Wii too.
Oh wow. Okay, there you go. Music artists such as Shakira, Pharrell Williams, Alicia Keys, Camila Cabello, The Chainsmokers, Jennifer Lopez, Pink, and Calvin Harris. Ubisoft's Film and Television and Olive Bridge Entertainment will develop and produce the project and eventually target the movie audience, release around 120 million video game players worldwide. Jason Altman and Margaret Boykin will produce for Ubisoft Film and Television, alongside Jodie Hildebrand and Will Gluck for Olive Bridge Entertainment. Eric Paquette and Brian Dukes are overseen for Scream Gems.
What is the market for this particular movie?
It's for the 120 million viewers, obviously.
Not every single time a Just Dance game sold, it sold to someone who's never played Just Dance before, unless people who always they buy one Just Dance game and then they're like, you know what, that's enough.
Yeah. But yeah, that's true.
But who's buying Just Dance, sitting there and they're waving they're waving themselves around, they're doing the Kinect thing, or they're waving their Move controllers, or they're waving their Wii remote, or they're just fucking waving shit around as you do to Just Dance. And who among them is like, movie's coming out soon. What's this? Just Dance. I can sit there for 90 minutes and stare at the high contrast guys going like, and I'll understand the plot. The plot, very important, very important. That's for me.
Oh, but that's not the worst one. Oh, no. If you thought that a movie based off of a video game that people dance around is ridiculous, how about a movie based off of a board game where you're just going around in a circle?
Brandon Kilgore says, I think the target market are the same people driving blindfolded after they escape a bank robbery.
Okay, how about this? How about a video game based off of a board game where you just go around and, try to pass go and try to collect $200?
Oh, no, you didn't. No.
Yes, I did. There's going to be a Monopoly movie.
Oh, man.
Yes, we have really scraped the bottom of the barrel, and we are going to have a movie based off of Monopoly. It wasn't bad enough that there was a movie based off of Battleship, but no.
So is
Monopoly.
this like a couple of millionaires get together and they're all trying to buy everything and drive each other into bankruptcy or something?
Yes,
and it's like the bad guy, the mean one. He's got all the money. If he thinks he's got it all fine, all good, he's like got almost all the properties done. He's like, ha, and then he stops like to because he's got to like he needs to sleep, and he stops at Park Place, and it turns out there's a hotel there that he doesn't own.
Yes, and the movie is going to be at least 3 days long. Because there's like two people who have done so well with getting every single bit of property from Park Place all the way up into getting the electrical plant and a few railroads, and they're like, please just end. It's like, no, I still have $20,000. Okay, I'm gonna make you go to jail then. Oh wait, I gotta get out of jail free card. Damn it. Okay, so Decker, why don't you read this one?
No, I mean, okay. Kevin Hart is in talks to star in Lionsgate and Hasbro's Monopoly live-action movie, which he will also produce through his Heartbeat Productions label. Tim Story is in final negotiations to direct the film and also produce through his Story Company banner. Heartbeat's John Chang will also produce and oversee the pick with Carly Haney. Okay, I am completely lost already. I haven't gotten to the plot yet. Story Company president Charlotte Stumper Bridget will produce as well. Lionsgate and Hasbro will have been attempting to produce a Monopoly movie. Hasbro have been attempting to produce a Monopoly movie since 2015. Why? When they hired Andrew Niccol, The Truman Show, to write the screenplay about a boy from the game's Baltic Avenue embarking on a quest to make a fortune. How? Did he buy Baltic Avenue while he was there? In that case, he's pretty well off already. Hasbro will co-produce the untitled film through its Allspark Pictures label. Hasbro's Brian Goldner, Stephen Davis, and Greg Moradin will serve as producers. Hart's currently starring in the comedy drama The Upside with Bryan Cranston. The film led the box office last weekend, surprising with $20.4 million. Hart was selected to host this year's Academy Awards, but bowed out following controversy surrounding past homophobic tweets. Story has directed 7 films that have launched in first place as the domestic box as the direct. What? Okay, Ride Along, Think Like a Man, and the sequels. His next film, Chef, starring Samuel L. Jackson, will open in June. Oh, great, another remake or sequel. I don't know. Hart's collaborations with Lionsgate include the joint venture Laugh Out Loud channel, the unscripted TV series Kevin Hart, What the Fit for YouTube, and the concert film Kevin Hart, Let Me Explain. His Heartbeat Productions produced Night School, the TV series The Next Level, and Heart of the City on Comedy Central. The news was first reported by Deadline Hollywood.
Okay. So, which is more insane? A movie based off of dancing or a movie based off of a board game that is about collecting money?
Well, at least I have an idea of a plot structure in Monopoly. I just don't understand how it's like, is he the good guy? Because, monopolies are illegal.
Yeah. So I think that we're in a paradox, everybody. They're trying to find the most basic movie. They'll make a movie out of everything and hoping that people will watch it.
Amanda Tucker's saying they will probably make movies VR as well at some point. And they do actually have VR movies already.
Mm-hmm, they do.
There are several.
All right. Well, I need to find some good news because after this, we're going to go into the real crap. I know. Yay. I have a headache now. Okay. Oh, this will be nice. We did talk about this a while ago, but now we've actually finally gotten a completion. So a while ago, we did talk about that Rob Zombie was going to be doing a sequel to his film, The Devil's Rejects, calling it 3 from Hell. And now, according to his Instagram, he has confirmed that the script is now complete. So, oh wait, I'm sorry. It's not complete. Never mind.
Oh.
Well,
So,
oops.
okay, that article is...
Okay, I'll have to go to the new article then. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Revolver.
Still got a couple of months of work left. It's getting there, but it's fucking awesome. Yeah, thumbs up.
Yay, great.
Thumbs up.
Okay, so yeah, apparently it was complete, but now it's not complete. It's something. It's coming. It's coming.
Maybe, possibly, one day.
Sort of, possibly, maybe. Okay.
I've noticed that's been. It doesn't seem like that's been happening a lot in the last few years. Like, we'll get all this big hype about a movie, and then, but at the most, we'll feel like, yeah, it's coming, maybe, possibly, at some point. We think.
Hey, wait a minute. We got a super chat from Lazarus Soul 82 for $5 saying, so Rock'em Sock'em Robots, aka Real Steel, is the quote-unquote best quote-unquote tabletop game. The one to beat. Shit. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Do they have a Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie?
Not yet, but don't be surprised if they will announce one.
I think I'd actually like to see one.
They did kind of have a Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie back in the 2000s. It had Hugh Jackman in it at one, as like a supporting cast member. It was like a father and son thing, but it was the future, and there were like remote controlled robot fights, I think.
Yeah, okay, I should fucking go watch it. Okay, Corey 2000 saying Simon movie based on the Simon game. That's gonna be about like disarming a bomb. And it's like do 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 do. Shut!
Oh, sorry guys, you're all gonna die.
That was the name of the movie. Yeah, thank you everyone who pointed that out.
Yeah, Real Steel. Might as well just. I guess that'll be the closest equivalent to Rock'em Sock'em Robots until they make a Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie.
Robot movie. Yeah.
All right. So yes. Let me read this one. So we reported a few days ago that Rob Zombie had completed work on his latest film, 3 from Hell, based off of an Instagram post where he discussed completing the trilogy of films that ties up. The director has since taken to social media platform once more to clarify that the film is not yet completed, but is still a ways off from the final product and confirmed release schedule. So folks may seem confused by my posting say, I completed my Rejects trilogy. I said the trilogy is complete, but the movie 3 from Hell is not finished yet.
What do you know what the word complete means, man?
So Rob Zombie proves he does not know what words are.
Nope. I guess not. Or maybe he doesn't know the difference between the words.
Right.
Anyway, still got a couple of months left. It's getting there, and it is fucking awesome.
That would have been great, creepy, when you called me up before and I'm like, oh yeah, the review, it's done. And you're like, why isn't it posted yet? Instead of me saying, because it hasn't been a week, I'd just be like, because I haven't finished editing. Or I haven't finished the script yet. But you said it was done. No, I said it was complete. What?
Sure.
Decker does not know what words are either.
If waiting for the new film and Zombies album due to this year has you on edge with anticipation, check out what readers voted to be the singers in A Tour's top 5 songs earlier this week in our fan poll. So, yeah, apparently he said on Instagram that it's complete, but it's not finished. So, yeah. Dumb on me for thinking that I was going to pull up some good news. So, oh well.
Complete but not finished. It's just Rob Zombie. It's just dealing with Rob Zombie.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so should we get on to the YouTube news?
Hey, Sci-Fi Action Movie Review says Hasbro bought Power Rangers for $522 million. They're really worth that much?
Yep, they are. The Super Sentai series is still going on in Japan, and as long as, that's still going, then Power Rangers is still going.
I mean, there was like a year or two where, I mean, like they made that awful remastered version of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to fill in for 2010. Like 2009's Power Rangers RPM was supposed to be the last Power Ranger series, but then in 2011 they brought it back again, and Saban got the rights for it back, and thus began the Neo Saban era with Power Rangers Samurai.
Fujisaur is like, well, is that how he made Halloween 2? Complete, but not finished.
Yeah, pretty much. Nicole7891 says, Gremlins 3. We did talk about Gremlins 3 in the last episode of Live and Wired, where they're going to be using like animatronics for, for the Gremlins creatures, and that's pretty much all we know about it.
Good.
So yeah, we did talk about that.
CGI Gremlins will make me angry.
Someone actually asked me back when you reviewed the Gremlins movies, Deckers. They were like pointing out how, like, when I reviewed Gremlins, I was like, commenting on the movie itself, its plot, little intricacies like that. And whereas you reviewed the movie and you were like, yes, so the body count has finally started. And they were like, did they just have a carnage boner? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, so I guess now it's time to cover the YouTube stuff.
I'm out.
Yeah, I really don't want to do this one because, oh man, if you thought that, I'm sorry, that this is just really insulting. If you thought that Logan Paul, filming a dead body in the Japanese suicide forest was like nothing more than just insulting, I'm sorry that this is infuriating to me. So, all right, 1 year after Japanese suicide forest controversy, Logan Paul says he will go gay for a month.
Is this just his yearly thing? Is like a lot of us, like, we have our resolutions. We look at ways to improve ourselves. We look at things like, okay, I'm going to try and drink less. I'm going to just get more work done. I'm going to go forth. I'm going to be a better man. Logan Paul's like, what can I fuck up this year?
I think that actually is how he goes about his life.
It's like, I'm going to start the year on the worst foot possible. That way the rest of it's bound to look up.
No.
Just like, okay, I know where I stand in terms of this particular bit of news. So I'm just gonna come right out and ask this. And anyone in the comments, if you have an answer for this, feel free to share. What does this accomplish? Like what is this going to do exactly? Like what is the end goal for this? Help me out. Help me understand. Okay.
I got nothing. I really don't. Like, they think that they can be able to, fix a gigantic problem with a Band-Aid, but the Band-Aid happens to have been stretched out for a long time and can no longer stick to the wound so it can heal. Now it's like, you can't do that. You can't solve a problem by causing another problem and getting a lot of people upset about it.
See, the only way I think this could possibly make any form of sense, and that's putting it very loosely, is if Logan happens to be bi, just thinks he's straight, and just is thinking this is like, well, yeah, I could do some dudes, and that's just like normal. I'm just like gonna start doing that now, cause reason.
Yeah. $5 comment from Omega Gaming says, Omega's here, party over, stream over. Also, I see Logan and leave. I don't blame you.
We are going to be moving on very quickly. We have said pretty much everything that needs to be said already. Done.
Yes. Let's get out of this. We're done.
Please. I apologize, but I am.
Well, there's always 2020.
If he even has another chance.
I'm just gonna what is gonna be next year? What? Let's start the predictions. Okay, 2018 was a suicide forest, absolutely horrible. 2019 we have go gay for a month. Horrible in different ways. You can't really say one is more horrible than the other because it's in different, it's different aspects. It's like culture and life, people's lifestyles, and understand the base of understanding and empathy. Different things, still horrible. So what in 2020 can we imagine Logan trying? Do we want to imagine?
Autoerotic asphyxiation?
Well, that's
I mean, hey, you can do something horrible.
Oh God, Fujisaurus runs for president in 2020.
Wow, that would be no. I mean, first of all, in order for you to run for president, you have to be at least 35 years old. So he's too young for that.
He's too young for that.
But even if you were old enough, no.
I'm old enough to run for president, and let's be honest with ourselves. We've had Trump, and then someone brought up Logan Paul for president, which is the worst case scenario here.
What if Trump lowers the age you need to be president?
Oh, wow. Like what?
And that gives Logan the in.
Oh, no.
That wasn't even remotely funny.
It's not supposed to be.
Shame.
I'm not laughing at the situation.
Shame.
I'm laughing at your pain.
Shame.
Omega Gaming dropped $5. Only thing Logan can do to fix everything is to go back to the forest and be on the receiving end of the video. That's dark.
Although I'm having a hard time disagreeing with that right now. Creepy is 35. I thought he was in his late 20s. Actually, I'm almost 40. I'll be 39 this year.
I'll be 36.
Yeah, he's 36. I'll be 39 later on this year. I have people tell me that I look like I'm still in my 20s. So,
it's one of the rules of the internet. Everyone's 29 until further notice.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
I when I was in my mid to late 20s, I was like 29, and I went to a bar in New Orleans, and every bar that I went to, they carded me. Like, I just gave up keeping my driver's license in my wallet. I would just keep it in my pocket, and whenever I walked up to the bar door.
Okay, Dave Fernstein saying Trump can't lower the age. It's in the Constitution, and Jesse Gallardo adds that needs to go through Congress with a 2/3 vote, and I believe that has to also go 2/3 of the states need to vote and agree.
Yeah.
But assuming all of that happens,
right,
and that gives Jake the in.
He could.
Not Jake Logan. Both of them. Fuck it.
He could petition.
Jake for Logan, 2020.
Yeah, he could petition for someone to
the Paul 2020.
Right. He could petition for someone to
creepy for president. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Creepy Shado 2020.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Who's going to be the vice president?
Let's make Patricia the vice president. I mean, she does everything anyway.
Wait, then who's going to be the president?
Duh.
God, what the hell am I going to do? This is my channel.
Well, you could be our attorney general.
Oh, yay, great.
Yeah, I mean, you would still be making internet reviews, so we could make a Department of American Entertainment and put you in charge of it. I mean, the government can't do much worse anyway.
Fair
Actually,
enough.
they can.
Daniel the B631 says Chibi Thulu would be vice president, of course.
Oh, there we go.
I'm pretty sure elder gods are above 35.
All right. Yeah, you're
God
right.
Damn it. Omega Gaming dropped $5 saying creepy for president, Patricia for vice president, and Decker is the first lady.
I'm okay with this.
Me too.
I'm picturing Decker back he was done up in makeup like he was during the Rocky Horror Picture Show review, except now he has a pair of pearls around his neck.
Lovely.
I really don't want to imagine you giving me a pearl necklace, creepy. I really don't. So,
Okay.
I mean, on the one hand, I kind of want to move on, but on the other hand, I know what we're moving on to, and I kind of don't.
Okay, you know what? We're not going to cover the Tumblr news because I love you guys so much, and I don't want to cover this bad news note. So
I read it over. I have some thoughts, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, I could just like do a real quick
yes, please do so.
summarization, like a reaction review.
Very quickly, but yes.
Okay, so we got this news on the Tumblr thing from which it was on with Think Progress.
Yeah, Think Progress.
Where they're like, hey, you know, Tumblr, they did all this stuff to get NSFW, not safe for work content, off of their site. And it was extremely damaging to the LGBT community and sex workers. All of them really hurt. They don't bring up the fact that it was also to kind of squash the child pornography problem they had on Tumblr, which is sort of affected, sort of not. It's the algorithm they used didn't really work very well anyway, and it flagged a whole bunch of stuff as being adult content that wasn't anyway.
Right.
But Think Progress's problem with it was the fact that they didn't do anything about their Nazi problem, which the algorithm wouldn't do unless there was like the sexy Nazi dominatrix. I'm pretty sure she'd get flagged. But just like just a Nazi, that's not what the algorithm went to search for. So of course it didn't really do anything about it. And so they went through a whole list of how here's the problem, this, and then afterwards Tumblr did go and ban all of the people pointed out in that article. But yeah, so it's like. They're like, oh, but it's already against the terms of service, but they're not doing anything about it. It's like, the problem, in my opinion, is that Tumblr is just real shit at moderation, and it's always been shit at moderation. Hence the child pornography issue. I think that wasn't against the terms of service. It was. They just had the algorithm to nuke fucking everything to take care of it. So trying to have an algorithm to nuke specifically Nazis without it nuking everyone.
Yeah.
These things aren't easy, but at the same time, Tumblr is really shit at taking care of it. I mean, YouTube's not the greatest at moderation, but it's light years better than Tumblr.
Fair enough. But let's end things on a happier note, though, because I want things to ease up a bit with all the really crappy stuff that we covered. It's just like, man, like, where do we go from there?
Real quick. Make a game
go ahead.
Tumblr. When in doubt, ban them all.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is the current modus operandi. There's my soda. I was like, I checked those cans over there. I'm like, they're both empty. What's wrong? I thought I had more than this. I did. I just added behind the microphone.
Yeah, there you go.
Mystery is solved.
Hooray. Anyway, now the one thing I actually did want to cover, and this one is
Epic Jason X9000 was like, well, chat, I had 2 articles we can talk about. I was willing to share, but I guess instead we're talking about this.
Well, we always like to keep things balanced between the good and the bad.
So let's end on a good note.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with Epic Jason X9000 stuff.
Yeah, so I guess, you know what, let's do that. So Epic Jason X9000, give me one of your articles that you want me to cover. I'll do it.
Okay, Omega Gaming dropped $5 saying they ban all NSFW, yet furry NSFW, don't ask, is still on my dash. I was curious what would slip through. Also, $32 down the drain. Yep, damn. Thank you. But yeah, I think the reason why is because the algorithm is set to pick up on certain cues, like certain patterns. And furry doesn't look like naked human. It's not looking for like dragon genitalia. It's kind of like how on my gaming channel I have the Sakura games, and some of them get really fucking dirty. And I censor it, but the YouTube algorithm looks through the title cards you put up and looks for naked women and if it finds something it thinks is a naked woman, it's like this thing right here is automatically flagged as probably not safe for work. It's going to get the yellow $sign, what have you. And the interesting thing I noticed was that didn't happen on every single one. There was one that was ridiculously, what the fuck? Anyone could look at that and say that is not safe for work. But evidently, leather straps confuse you two. So
leather straps.
That one had the green $sign next to it.
Go figure.
Uh-huh. Oh, brother. All right, so I'm just gonna wait until Epic Jason X9.
Aren't you happy I'm your friend?
Thrilled.
Why don't we do our... Well, while we wait on Epic Jason...
Yeah.
Epic Jason posted 2 articles.
Okay.
He's got one, and he's like, here's the other article just in case. 2 bloody disgusting links.
Okay, cool. Let's take a look.
Shit, no. Okay, so am I doing that?
Yeah. Why don't you do that?
Oh crap! Because that means I got to bring up the chat over here, because I got this going on this computer, and I got
All
that
right,
on
just send me the link.
Oh, it's in the chat.
Oh, it's in the chat. Okay.
It's in the chat.
I did everything.
I seem to have lost it. Can you send me the link, Dicker?
Okay, just a second. Omega Gaming dropped $5 more saying male nipples can be on screen, but females must be censored. So, can I censor female nipples with male nipples?
Insert thong here.
Insert thong here.
Okay, let's see. Here's the first one. Let's see. Copy link address.
Anonymous Bastard says, Anonymous Bastard says, I hate shaving. Well, you don't need to worry about that because...
Oh, that is not it. That is not it at all.
Okay. That's okay because January just so happens to be January. For men, they have No Shave Ember, and for the women, they have January, where it's a very similar concept. You grow out your hair to raise money for, organizations and fund foundations for cancer. So... yeah, I guess for this one,
okay, I got a link sent to you. We don't got to talk about hairy lady legs.
Okay. I'm just answering the guy saying, hey, he hates shaving. That's okay. Okay, so let's bring out the article saying about first look at this year's Halloween 1978 Michael Myers mask from Trick or Treat Studios. Okay. The mask that really put Trick or Treat Studios on the map several years ago was their Halloween 2 Michael Myers masks, which finally allowed us to get our hands on a high-quality Myers mask at an affordable price. And this Halloween season, TOT is heading back to 1978.
After I already did the thing where I had to buy the mask and find good men. Now they're coming out with all the masks. Thank you. I mean, really, it's really handy. I got the rest of the suit anyway. I could just get a new mask.
Ahead of the full reveal of their hotly anticipated Halloween 78 mask, Trick or Treat's Justin Mabry just showed us the first image of his new sculpt this week, which you will find below. Mabry notes that TOT's 2019 catalog arrives within the next week, so expect more soon. This year's Trick or Treat Studios will also be releasing Halloween 4 and Halloween 5 masks. So there's the first mask, so cool.
Yeah.
And Daniel B631 says Bill Shatner cult mask, which that's pretty much what it is. So there you go. Okay, so yeah, I guess that's pretty cool. So thank you so much, Epic Jason X9000 for the article.
I guess happy article.
Yes, not the one talking about Tumblr. So
Omega Gaming dropped $5 more. Okay. It says never trust TTS. Make very long story. Okay, well, he says, I never trust TTS. To make a very long story short, it took me getting the Better Business Bureau involved so I could get a refund on a 4-month delay mask. Oh.
Okay.
So that's not so good. Not so good news there.
Well, I guess we'll have to try again next time.
Dang it, we almost had good news.
Oh well. But
no,
yeah.
Why do we end on down notes? Let's be happy.
Yes.
Horsey. Horsey, right. There's Horsey. Happy.
Yeah.
Anyway, Decker, what you got going on coming up?
That's not happiness.
That is happiness. Oh yeah, they're right. What you've got coming up is not happiness. So, are we not talking about it then? What have you got coming? Even if it's bad news, even if it's not happiness.
Still have it kicking around. Oh, here it is. I got this little thing. You might have heard of it.
The Predator.
It's about that time. Lovely. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, betcha.
I'll be ready with the popcorn. Creepy, what do you got?
There has been some technical problems. Yama had a cold recently. Bless he. Also had some technical problems with his laptop. He was in the middle of recording, and his laptop spontaneously rebooted because of the Skype. I believe it might have been because of Skype update or something. But anyway, his computer rebooted while he was in the middle of recording, so he lost everything that he had recorded. But I finally got the recording for him tonight, so there's going to be a new gem review. And this one stars the president from the 80s.
Lovely.
We also get a guest star appearance from Abraham Lincoln, Theodore Roosevelt, and I believe George Washington.
Great. Sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Omega Gaming dropped $5 more. Game. Oh. Okay. I hope you have enough to pay your bills, man. But anyway, you're saying, gotta love when Creepy's live feed turns into a slideshow. Also, I will dump however much cash on you because I love and want to support that hair. Thank you.
Which hair, though? Which hair are we talking about here?
I mean, Patricia's got hair, too.
Yes, I do have hair.
Yeah, she does have hair, so.
But yes, thank you for supporting our hair.
Yeah.
So yeah, as for me, I just recently posted up a deleted scene from my Christmas video, and it's hinting at a possible project that I've actually been working on for almost 3 years. I've been short on cash, so I've been waiting an opportunity for me to finally announce it, and about what I've been working on for a very, very long time. And also I'll be doing another episode of my podcast. I believe that I will be discussing about Batman Beyond because it already celebrated its 20th anniversary. And of course, I still have Dream Machine, where we recently posted up a new episode discussing about Over the Hedge. So yeah, that's all the stuff that I have for now.
As $2 more from Omega Gaming saying, wait, I thought Patricia was a 2D JPEG.
Yeah, I am a video game character.
Mm-hmm. Well, now the truth is out.
Yep.
All right.
That's what we got to do. We got to get Patricia new camera. We got to get Creepy a better internet, and I got to get more sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yep. Pretty much.
Thank you all for watching. This has been That Long-Haired Creepy Guy.
I've been Decker Shado.
And I've been Patricia.
And remember,
stop remaking everything and making live-action films that don't need to be live-action because it already exists in animation. It's so much nicer that way sometimes. But not always. But these times they are.
What he said, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
Good night, everybody.
I'm going to crawl in a hole and be sad.
I'm going with you.
Yay.
I got room for 3, but...